Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers Live. It is Monday at 1 p.m. and we're here live again as every Monday we do. Holy mackerel, what's going on? Ivona is first today. Thank you very much. A half hour early. People coming in early to the show. I appreciate it. Jared is in shorts at 25 degrees in Dallas. You know, there are people that wear shorts year round. I just don't get it, I guess. For people that don't know, I'm looking at another screen down here, so trying to keep up with the comments that way, because that's the only way to do it here, really, as I tap buttons and look around. All right, Jason was here, almost made it, but not quite. Wow. Troy, what's going on? Lindahl, thank you for being here today. King Bob the Trucker, day is going great here. My day is wonderful. Kim, what's happening? You have a problem. Oil in the coolant. You're going to be down for a while. Tell them to get you another truck. That's what you need. -11. Boy, that is something too. Jeff, sponsor. Yeah, Blue Parrot has been on board for a while here. I give a headset out. I've given a few of them out already, so that's a good thing. Anytime towing. What's happening? You wouldn't like it today here. It's sunny and beautiful out. Although it's a little cold, it's only 8 right now. It was 1 below this morning. The snowy northeast, Joshua. Yeah, we thought that was going to happen here. We only got like an inch of snow, so that was really something. Bluish hue, what's happening? Today, top of the afternoon here, the Princess of Dixie. What's going on out there today? Blue Lion, hello. Thank you for being here today. Will Hazard is here. Sam is here from Texas. Hello. Michael Young, what's happening? Brandon from Port Bar, Louisiana. I bet it's nicer there than here, at least. Jeffrey likes the poetry. Yeah, the poetry division, the vice president of poetry came over with that and said, you know, let's do a poem. So we thought we'd do an ode to C.R. England. If people haven't seen it yet, it's out there yesterday. Let's go. Jeff, going to Dawn Foods. Oh, you like the poem about England? Yeah, you know, a little poetry, a little class in the place up. What's Dawn Foods? Is that going to be a local job? Will you get paid hourly for that? M. Miller, good morning. What's happening out there? Let's see. M. Miller, it's cold in Omaha. Yeah, it's cold here today, too. Record cold temperature this morning. Cats laying in the sun, so that's how cold it is here. Wolf Spirits, what's happening out there? At 48 in Georgia. Yeah, it got cold all the way down there, right? To Sea Hill, that was really something. Juan from New York. Hopefully not New York City, right? David, can I explain mileage and household good? Yeah, zip to zip is household goods mileage, and practical miles would be a route the truck could take. So household goods is an old way to pay drivers. We really don't do that anymore. Places shouldn't pay it if they're paying it. They need to change their ways, really. You want to find hub, really, but then practical miles is pretty much what you get paid out. The zip to zip, I mean, Chicago is a big zip code. So you hit the zip code line, you could still drive 20 miles before you delivery. None of that is paid, so we don't like that at all. William's been doing round trips from Indy to St. Louis 6 days a week. What do you think about that? That sounds like home every day. Pretty good. Monkey Voodoo, what's happening? That's a good name. Stephen Brown, what's going on out there? Bluish hue to CR, yeah. You know, we just love CR England here. James, yeah, 25 in Dallas. That's really crazy for this time of year. Well, Dallas should be like 65, 70. Our average temperature is 50 degrees. 26 in Sweetwater, Texas. Man. Juan's in New York City. Sorry about that. Better be getting paid on the clock. And it's still not worth it. Did I see about the tornado in Alabama? Yeah, I saw down there they had a bunch of tornadoes roll through the south in the big storm. It's really something. Jeff's driving from Pueblo, Colorado. Neil broke out your thongs, hopefully on your feet. Yikes. Fayetteville is 45 to 50. That's better anyway, but that's still cold for this time of year. 17 below with a 35 below wind chill in Wisconsin. Man, you know, we're going to get in the 50s later this week. You're trying to work for Knock or JS Hewig. Yeah, who has an opinion on that? Greetings, Chicago is living up to their nickname. It's just cold everywhere. Standing tall trucking. What's going on? No, Kim lives in Fayetteville, so you know what the weather is there. Joshua's in Newburgh, New York, getting ready to pay your tolls. Nobody likes tornadoes, but it's a sign spring is on the way. Hopefully, right? It's about time. Kim, what's the topic? I never get to the topic, right? The topic is that driver that parked on the side of the road. So in California, a driver parked on the side of the interstate, and a car hit him. And he was sleeping there and admits, yeah, I was running out of hours, so I parked on the shoulder and just went to sleep. And 3 people died. He got charged only so far with illegal parking, but they said they might raise those standards. So what's the solution? Should we just park on the shoulder of the road? If he knows that, and because he said, oh, I know that where I'm going here, there's no parking, so this is the only place I could park. Shoulder parking, that's not allowed. Okay, that is not allowed, and I see it at night because I'm out driving at night. And so I see a lot of trucks on the shoulder. I know they're sleeping there or taking a 30-minute break. You can't do that. The solution is to park, Trevor, right? Park early and let the load sit there. You cannot, if you have to park 2 hours away, that's just how it goes. You can't park on the shoulder of the road. Here, 3 people are dead because a driver made a bad choice. That isn't right to do to people. It's 4 below in Valparaiso. Wow, they're closing the law school up there. Not that anybody cares, I guess. Standing tall, checking in from Atlanta. The Samchi, hey, from LA. At least it's somebody's warm today. Bubba, what's happening out there? Thanks for coming in today. Pure flatbedder. Bought a new Indian. Wow, this is a good time to buy an Indian, I bet. It's got to be kind of dead in the showrooms for those. Portland's 28 degrees, and the average should be 54, right? The whole country's like in a freeze zone. Ivona, the party is rolling. What's the story in that shoulder crash? Yeah, we're just talking about that shoulder crash. That guy, I mean, you can't park on the shoulder. You can't. Only in an emergency. That's it. That's the only way to do it. 25 when Dallas and Houston. That's crazy, Roger Penske. What are you doing over there, by the way? Hey, what's up from the UK? Monvec, what's happening? Thanks for checking in on the international line. For calling in on the international number, be sure to dial +1 before you call over. And your country code, as Art Bell would say. What size microwave? Where are we at on that? New York still under fire for ELD. Has that been resolved? It hasn't totally been resolved yet, but they have a law in the works, and it's about to be signed from what I understand. So that'll be the end of that. Deplorable Tennessee here doing your 34 in Illinois. Yes, Trevor, you have to just manage your time, get there early. Not all shippers or whatever allow you to park, or receivers. Leslie's in the Trucking Answers Safety Meeting, the Odessa chapter. You can head up the Texas branch. I do recommend the FedEx Apprentice Program. FedEx uses driver-facing cameras. Always remember that. Well, if you got a grant that'll pay for your truck school, I mean, go to truck school through the grant, certainly. And do the hazmat test, right? Get all your endorsements, go to truck school, and then call like 50 million places because you've got it made. You've got your truck school paid for. And that's a huge battle won for you. It's 79 in Florida. Finally, somebody's got it. Oh, you're in Mardi Gras? Wow. People are, what are you, off the whole week down there? 10 below in the Northeast. Great. Position for a city driver. Well, you'll get paid for your time, and people have written me that they pay, overtime. But apparently when you start, and you'll have to ask them at your location, apparently when you start there, a lot of people have to do a lot of dock work. I would say that's not a problem as long as they still pay you. You know, I wouldn't care that much about it. But that apparently it's a problem with some people. Why did the car drift on the shoulder? They killed themselves. Well, the police did say that, it would be the car's fault for hitting the truck. Absolutely. But the police were concerned that trucks are parking on the shoulder, taking a break. It's illegal. That's not allowed to do. So that driver's still going to have a huge problem. He may lose his whole career for that because you're not allowed to park there. There'll certainly be a lawsuit, and the driver will probably have to go bankrupt over it. Was the driver distracted or whatever? The police said that they believe speed is a factor in the accident. That's what they said. Sunny and 70 in Tucson, and so agree. The car shouldn't be going over there or whatever, but they wouldn't have hit that truck. You can't park on the shoulder is the point of it. That shoulder parking because you're out of hours, that's not allowed. It is not allowed. This guy's sleeping on the shoulder. How dangerous is that? What if that had been a semi? Could have killed this guy too because he's parked there. Sounds like he failed a trip plan. Yes, said he knew he couldn't park. Exactly. He didn't plan. He did trip plan. He's like, I know I can't park where I'm going, so I'm going to park here on the shoulder because I guess where he's going, somewhere in California, there's just absolutely no parking. So you have to park an hour to whatever it is, however far away it is. You need to be parked in a safe spot. You don't want to. Even though it may not be his fault, you don't want to live with the fact that because you chose to park on the shoulder, a bunch of people are dead. That isn't any good either. Yeah, Juan, really decide it. Question those people. On my website, truckinganswersnation.com, I have a questions page that you go check those out. And those are questions that you should ask a company, any company, and call a bunch of them because, heck, you've got your truck school paid. Isn't that awesome? Not all the truck drivers' fault because a four-wheeler is also fault for not having enough truck stops. Well, look, the four-wheeler, ultimately the accident is going to be their fault, according to the police, because of speed. The police problem was the truck shouldn't be parked on the shoulder of the road. They just shouldn't be doing that. I don't know what let's see. So people are talking about the microwave, right? I'm not sure about that. He should lose his career. Yeah, I mean, look, you cannot park on the shoulder. I see it every night. You know that there are drivers doing it, 30-minute breaks, because there's a huge increase in the amount of trucks that are parked on the shoulder of roads. And this isn't, like a ramp or whatever. This is just the shoulder of the road. That's how that went. And, that's how this goes too out there. ADCO, no parking. You cannot park unless it's an emergency. You work for Gardner Trucking, and they said there's no reason to park on the shoulder unless it's a broken truck or whatever. Exactly. I mean, that's the only reason that you can park is for an emergency, and that's what they were saying about this driver as well. I'm on the last load headed to Chicago to drop off the truck, looking for a new job, local, live in Indy. Holy mackerel, there's tons of local jobs. I'm just north of Indianapolis here in Lafayette, and so I search through it all the time. There's tons of local jobs. Old Dominion is down there paying $1,500, ABF is down there. Just get on Craigslist. Oh, CVS, they had an ad. Check them out. They're through M&M. They run at M&M Trucking. CVS drivers are looking at $1,500 a week and that delivers to CVS stores, home every day, regular schedule. There's plenty of local jobs. NFI is in Lebanon. I mean, holy mackerel. The truck driver's not at fault for the accident, but he has a CDL, so they'll twist it on him. Well, he's partially at fault for parking on the shoulder of the road, certainly. They need more rest areas. There needs to be more parking. I've said that's the biggest problem in trucking, parking. They regulate everybody and then don't give you anywhere to park. And then once they have a rest area, they close it. Oh, here's a rest area. Let's close it immediately. If you don't take per diem, then you have to keep receipts for everything you pay. It doesn't matter if you don't take per diem, you don't get to deduct. You don't get to take per diem, and you'll never get enough receipts to overcome the standard deduction. The standard deduction this year is like $12,000. So you would need more receipts than that to deduct things, because otherwise you'll take the standard deduction. I doubt most company drivers will have enough deductions to make it worthwhile. You can keep them and add them up, but good luck on that. Oh, don't they call it an emergency pull-off lane? Yeah, they called it the shoulder in this article, so it was just the shoulder of the road. It's for emergencies. They were quite clear that the driver cannot park there. You can't sleep there. I won't even park on the shoulder for a flat tire, for a flat drive to the exit. If the truck will roll, I agree. Get off the interstate. It's super dangerous. If you got a super single, I guess you're stuck. But otherwise, roll it somewhere, get it off the road, at least to a ramp where you're not on the actual road. Totally agree. Other than the shoulder, where do you go if your hours expired and no truck stops for 2 hours? You should have parked 2 hours in advance. I mean, that is the honest truth of it. You can't park on the shoulder. You can't do something that's unsafe and say, well, because of the hours, I have to do this unsafe thing. Safety has to be the top priority of every driver. You know, all of us have to think about safety. And if it means you park 2 hours away, then unfortunately, that's what it means. Anytime towing, right? If you're required to have your triangles out at a certain time, shoulder parking should be no different with triangles. That's the thing. And I looked in that article. I don't know if he had his triangles out or not. Probably not. But that wouldn't have stopped this accident, certainly. You certainly can't park even with your triangles out. And those people run them over. People run those over too. How many pieces of triangles do you see on the side of the road that are run over? That's because, partly because drivers don't know how to put them out, but partly because people drift over and run them over. There's plenty of local driving jobs in Omaha, but you have to have 2 years over the road, even though they are not over the road jobs. That doesn't make any sense, right? There's plenty of jobs in Indianapolis, I'll tell you that, for local work that you don't need 2 years of experience. No problem. Trucker should show up in his defense and court date if it goes south. Well, I don't know how he'll be charged, but I don't know if he'll go to jail for it or anything. Must not have had his lights on. I don't know, Pamela, if he had the lights on. There wasn't a picture of it. I wish there was a picture of it. They were sort of suggesting that the other truck, the SUV, lost control because it was going too fast, and so drifted over there and hit him. That's what the police are suggesting. Team up, keep it rolling, get a buddy and keep rolling, Sea Hill. If you can do it, I guess you'll make the most money, at least that I've seen, teaming, other than like specialty hauling. And if you can find somebody and do it, more power to you. It's not for me. I won't do it no matter what it pays. So I'm out. But that is another solution. And I've always thought getting a dedicated run can be a solution as well, because you know where you're going, so you'll know if there's parking. People are nicer to you if you go there every day or every other day and bring in donuts. They might let you park there. You'd be surprised what you can get with a box of donuts. It's just the idea we shouldn't be there. Exactly. I mean, he shouldn't have been parked there. The triangles, I don't know that they would help. Plus, he got his triangles destroyed, ironically. The shoulder, no, but an on and off ramp, they're filled up at night, certainly in Indiana here. And I feel better about the on ramp than the off ramp. You guys have to use Google Maps to see where you can park at these plazas and grocery stores. Oh, you never park at a truck stop? I always park at truck stops. I would always park there because I can get a shower and stuff. Can't shower at the Kroger. Your wife saves you a parking spot at the Loves. What, does she just park her car over there? That's something. Or does she work there? That's even better. Working with CR England, trying to find something, they don't pay overtime. Yeah, no matter what you're doing there, you should try to find anything else. Just make a random call to a truck company and you'll probably do better. Did I see the Tesla driverless car caused a fatal crash in Florida? Feds are investigating. Yeah, that people use that. I don't remember what does Tesla call it? Autopilot? It's not really an autopilot, and so it doesn't see things that are stopped, as well as the difference in speed when something is going zero. It didn't stop the car. That's what you get for buying an $80,000 car and let the car drive itself. That's going to be semis someday, right? The first couple semis, when they go crashing into something. You saw driving the side of the road has triangles blocking the lane. Yeah. What are we doing here, people? And why do people put their triangles? Drivers will come out of triangles 10 feet, 11 feet, and 12 feet. Hey, that's not how you put out a set of triangles. Spot market team driving. If you team drive, it's way better to have a dedicated account or a contract. That's better for solos as well, right? Then you know what you're going to make. Not everybody likes that. Stephen liked the poetry jam. Yeah, the poetry division called me up, said, hey, Mark, let's get some poetry going. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it, right? Hey, first, last name. Oh, what company do I work for? Well, I never get that question, so thank you for asking that. I don't say who I work for, and that keeps the company out of my videos. They don't get to say, well, now that you're speaking for us, you represent us, so you don't get to say, we don't want you saying this or whatever. That keeps them out of there. And also, I don't recruit for my company. I can't tell you the number of drivers I see out here recruiting for their company. Basically, they're just recruiting for their company. I don't do any of that. I keep them out of it and don't get the recruiting bonus from them either. Tesla, it's the user's fault, not the car. Absolutely. Don't let your car drive itself around. You'll be surprised just asking nicely to park what that gets you. Yes. I mean, go in there, be showered. Don't look like you just walked out of a homeless camp, and be nice to people, and you'll be surprised what you can do. And I also suggest donuts can get you pretty far too. Shower. You shower and break or go to Planet Fitness. That's not a bad idea too. You can use Planet Fitness to shower. The one here in Lafayette, you can park a truck there. So keep that in mind, any Planet Fitness members. Get off exit 168 off of I-65 in Indiana and come into Lafayette, and you'll see it on the left side as you come into town. And there's parking there, not for a ton of trucks, so there's probably put 4 or 5 trucks in there. And so far, I see trucks in there at night and stuff, no problem. It's next to the Ford dealer. Who showers? Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? They're going to start banning four-wheelers for these weather CMV bans. That's a good idea. They ban, Pennsylvania's been doing this a lot this winter. Every time they think it's going to have 3 snowflakes, they ban every truck for the whole state. Why don't they ban the cars off the interstates? That would be a lot better. Let's get the cars off the roads, let the freight roll through. Vlad's got a shower. Yeah. Call Millis Transfer. They're looking for drivers. Yeah, always they are. You do get the dash cam. You get the driver-facing camera, but eventually you can turn it off. Some companies don't like the driver to park far from the shipper, so you have 2 hours left. Yes, too bad. I would tell them, I'm not parking on the shoulder, so I got to park, where it's safe and legal to park. I know companies don't like it, and I'll give you grief about it. Tell them tough. That company should set up their own parking in the area then. You got to do what is safe and, appropriate for you. Not what they do. They're not driving the truck. But I agree with you. And you might get grief for it. Big, huge Mike, what's happening? In your area, it's impossible to park at a rest or a truck stop at night. Yeah, night now means like after 4 p.m. With all the states not wanting truck parking, it's sad. But you can understand when you see the trash. I mean, isn't that the problem? You go to a place, because some Walmarts and that ban trucks now, but you go to the back of the truck stop. You see why they ban trucks. There's no need for that. There's just no need for it. Does Mills transfer higher in the West? No, I don't think so. I think around I-35 or so is probably the cutoff. They're not 48 states yet, I don't think. Have I drove LTL? We're like a bunch of pickups? Yeah, my first job was a bunch of pickups. That, I guess, would have been considered LTL. Or I did 20 stops a day. When you activate the autopilot, it tells you clearly on the steering wheel to keep your hands in proximity. It does. But people don't, they're just not paying attention. They go, oh, autopilot. I mean, they named it autopilot. That's not a great name for something that is not really an autopilot. You've been saying people parking on the shoulder, causing a wreck. They want to get back on the busy road. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. When you're on the shoulder, hey, can you get going more than like 2 miles an hour before you just jam out into the lane? How about that? Holy mackerel. Johnny, Crap Company of the Week doesn't leave us options. That must be something, I never heard of that. Drive for Hy-Vee? Right. He's also at extreme upper 30s. I am in my extreme upper 30s. That is correct. You just started in Colorado. What are you doing out there? Who's out in Colorado? Hopefully not at Western. How about it driverless pilots for all the major airlines catering to passengers? The autopilot in a jet is different than the autopilot on a Tesla. Spot market teams. Yeah, I'm way out. I don't have any idea about any of that. Hoping if you're hopping back on the highway, you should have your directional on, and when you finally get on, you should have your four-ways on. And more than 2 miles an hour. Can you pick a little speed up? Some of these drivers, they're like, oh, here's a bunch of traffic. I guess I'll just come out in the lane right here. Do I work for England? No. DeMott, the DeMott Loves is always empty. You can get in there at night in DeMott at the 2:30. Isn't that where that Loves is? I shower on your DCs. Anytime towing, roll with your flip-flops and sweatpants and ask to park and drop my pee jugs. Yeah. Hey, you guys got anywhere I can drop these? And hold this. Right, exactly. Where can I pour these? What can I do with these? She's like, get out. Planet Fitness not only has showers, but scenery. This one doesn't have a lot of windows in it, so I'm not sure. I'm sure that's what you're talking about. I see people just getting on the highway with no signals and gaining speed with four ways. Yeah, come on, folks. Get rolling. What are we doing here? Plus, most people that are on the shoulder are not having an emergency. Let's be honest about that. Hey, Travis, what's going on from South Carolina? I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. I'm live every Monday at 1 p.m. And people can write to me, Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. Write to me anytime. You're in Pennsylvania, the turnpike freezes and salt trucks are slow. You have seen 30-plus car pileups. Yeah, so let's get those cars off the road so we can get going. They've been doing that here in Indiana, too. So it's 28 degrees, starts snowing. Where are the salt trucks? Nowhere. Huge wreck. Oh, now they send out salt trucks. If they did just one pass of salt and the roads would have been fine. Democrat governor in Pennsylvania. I don't know. Who's the governor of Pennsylvania? Blue Line, yes. You saw that, a historical video, yes. I've been in a situation where I called ahead to ask if you could come there, and the person said yes, but when you got there, your hours, and then they won't. It's a problem because the person that answers the phone may not even know if you can come there. Like, yeah, come. They don't really know. It's a huge problem. I think that the Uber app for Uber Freight, drivers can actually put down there whether there's parking or not. That's a really good idea. Now, that's owner-operators are going to be using that. But I think that would be a good idea to come to the industry. Mark Millis is driving to Colorado. Oh, okay, so they'll go that far out there? All right, 70 in Arizona, nice. You drive in Phoenix to Southern California, and parking is an issue in California. It is, but then you still can't park on the shoulder, right? It's just not right to do. It's too dangerous. People, as we see, people die from it. And even though it may or may not be your fault, they had an accident, I mean, because you were there, they're dead. That's not something you want to deal with. Adco, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for starting March out right. Other day had a prime pull directly off the shoulder. Well, they were already going full speed. That's the thing. That prime was already at full speed and just pulled out. That's the speed they're going to go. Millis wants drivers from Colorado. All right, so they'll go I-25. Let's put I-25 out there for Millis instead of 35. I'll move one interstate over for him. I know it's not 48 states for Millis. California, no salt, just sand. Yeah, they sand the roads. I don't think that helps that much, especially if it gets really, really cold. Anytime towing. I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. Goodness. I'm on the Walmart dedicated with Crete, working 6 days a week, and your check has not been over $670 for 6 days. That's horrible. You need to call them and say, look, we need to do something or I'm out of here, because there's plenty of trucking jobs. And it pretty much needs to be that strict about it, really. Joshua the Tanker, what's happening out there today? What's the deal? I mean, a lot of people talk about Crete and enjoy it, especially dedicated runs, too. So are they just sitting you around? What's happening there? Had to use a way station last night to park in California. A lot better than the shoulder, yes. If they'll let you park in there, which they should, absolutely. The Kentucky one has always been the best one because they'll let you leave without going back over the scale. They have an exit lane. So you can just zoom right out. They have rest areas, basically a rest area set up for trucks in there. A DUI lady went on the wrong jug handle on the turnpike. She was 40 miles per hour, and this was 60. Tractor trailer driver was fine, but the four-wheeler was mangled. Yeah, well, DUI, I'm very strong on that. First one, you lose your license for a year. Second one, that's it. No license. Period. For the rest of your life. So I'm, and jail. Like 10 years. I'm super serious about it. Why is a tractor trailer good on snow or ice? Well, really, the problem on the snow or ice is there's so many cars that have no idea what they're doing. Honestly, most truck drivers have more experience than most car drivers. So we would have a better idea, hopefully, of what we're doing and get the cars out of the way so that we can still get freight delivered. You get one car that messes everything up, and it's a huge problem. Not to say that trucks don't do that too. It can happen. I'd like to see a lot less traffic. If Pennsylvania is going to close the roads to somebody, it should be for cars. And in the snow, they should forget all the tolls. Especially if the speed limit, if they have to lower the speed limit because they can't keep the road safe, no toll. You remember a driver, Millis won't hire from Maine. All right. Because they probably can't get you home. They don't have any routes that go up there. Driver was parked in an off-ramp in Indiana back in 2007 and a car hit. Yes, that driver did go to prison for that. Because there's no, in Indiana, strict, no off-ramp, on-ramp parking, period. It's prohibited. Thought Crete was better than that. And in fact, after that accident, they got strict about it for a while and were fining people like $500 just going up and down the ramps and, telling the company, park here again and we're going to tow your truck away. They've laid off of it lately. You thought Crete was better than that. Yeah, me too. Who's making $670 for 6 days? That's crazy. You need to get on them and say, hey, this is not acceptable kind of pay. That's Uber money. That's $100 a day. Wonder why Red K Hall hasn't made any new videos on Crete. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Maybe he's only making $600 a week and it's not there anymore. So you're on the reefer side. It still should be, $670 in 6 days is not acceptable no matter what side anybody's on. If he's not making money, he's doing something wrong and not... Well, it can be the driver too, right? Let's put it that way. So, if you're not managing your time, that can be another reason you don't make money. Landstar's a great company. Used to be on Ranger with a step deck. I've always said I liked the way that they ran the place. I've never been leased on there or anything. You're about to leave Big Red. Oh, the pay is still crap. That's disappointing. They'll have no way to replace you there. You're a company driver, so you can't refuse loads, so you get the miles they give me. I agree, but you got to get on them. If you're doing everything right, you got to get on them and say, this is not acceptable at all. Crete will get you every time. They said you would get me a bus ticket to go from Kansas to Texas. They gave me $50 and would have cost $300 easy for a bus ticket. I don't understand why you're going from Missouri to Texas anyway. Is it illegal to get paid a salary in trucking? No, absolutely not. I get a salary every week here. Illinois, no CDL for repeat DUI. It should be no license for anybody. If you're going to drink and drive, I don't even want to hear it from people. I mean, I'm all about making people, people can have a second chance. So that's why after the first one, you'll have a restriction. But the second one, that's it. I'm out. It's so dangerous. You're going to kill somebody. People, we're all out here trying to do stuff. So I like that from Illinois. I think it should be even more strict than that. Experienced truckers have a better feel for the limitations. Yeah, once you know what you're doing, then get the cars off the road. In the summer around holidays, it's always the worst because cars, you'll see somebody out there, and they don't hardly ever drive in the interstate. You can tell which car it is. It's somebody pulling a huge RV or something that they never do it. It's just really dangerous. It's hard enough to be safe out there. Central Pennsylvania has high mountains. I wouldn't know if I would call them mountains. The runaway truck ramps are everywhere. My little work van has a hard time climbing. I wouldn't call those mountains, I don't think. And you must have like a Dodge Ram van or something. One of the old caravans that doesn't have any windows on it. You haven't seen Red K Hauler in a while either. Yeah, I guess I'm behind the times on who that is. Countryside Auto Trans in Menasha, Wisconsin, 70 plus first year with the new trucks and no slip seating. Wow, imagine that, Walmart. You keep one trailer, full benefits, but you got to be in Wisconsin. Well, that stinks. Nice curds, though. Philly, no mountains on the East Coast. Yeah, I don't consider Philadelphia to be high mountains, really. There was an Isuzu straight truck that slammed into the back of a stopped semi where 70 turns on 65. Why are we stopping down there in the curves? Holy mackerel. How dangerous is that? The only reason to stop there would have to be an emergency. So you were early last week. Yeah, what happened this week, right? Some states on second DUI give you a different colored tag. They ought to put a tag on your head like Gallagher said that you ought to be able to shoot the cars with an arrow, and then it's got a flag on it that says that. The second DUI, you should be prohibited from driving for life and go to jail for maybe 10 years. Think about it in there. You and your roomie can think about it, your cellie. Crete doesn't send people on the crack hound. They set up rental cars and hotels. I was wanting to see the answer to that, because once you're a driver somewhere, you know, I'm iffy about it even as a student. I think it shows a lot more respect for you as a professional if they will rent you a car. But once you work somewhere, you're an employee, no more bus. No way. Well, what's legal after the first drink? Nothing. You shouldn't be drinking and driving, certainly. And I agree. I would put it at 0. Okay, I would. Not only that, but when I love when a four-wheeler tries to slow you down because they think you're going too fast in the snow, not really think, yeah, they put us both in danger. What the heck? They get out of the way. I mean, they may not have the same skill or whatever. So because they think you're too fast, come on, folks. They're gonna get killed doing that. And the proof is they don't get killed that the drivers are professional. That's the only reason they're not dead. He's a driver at Crete. Used to do a lot of videos on Crete and terminal hours. Oh, I don't know why they've never come up. I mean, they've never come up in my feed or anything like that. He probably got an old phone company van that says free Wi-Fi on the side. Oh, yeah, free Wi-Fi and candy inside. Creeper van. Here in California, the state is still using diesels from the 80s. Oh, early 2000s. Be surprised at that emissions. But civilians can't have the truck, so they're having like the 6-point whatever non-turbo Chevy diesels. Nice. 148 horsepower or whatever. Truck drivers have 0 tolerance. They should. Everyone should have 0. It should be 0.00. If Crete let you go for whatever reason, they say they'll give you the money it would cost for a bus ticket. Oh, okay, I see. So they let you go. So they only give you $50. Yeah, I wouldn't trust them on that. I guess $50 is better than nothing. I've said many times to everybody, and I still say this, no matter where you work, it doesn't matter. You should always have enough money to get you back from the farthest point in the country to your house available to you. You don't have to have it in cash, but a card, some way to get it to send yourself back home, because you might need to. The company may or may not pay your way home. Some say they pay it and don't. It just depends. Big Ben. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Michael says DUI and done. I agree. I have 0 tolerance for that. Red K is a recruiter, so watch with a grain of salt. Yeah, almost every truck driver out here has got their information to recruit, certainly. But he's good info. That doesn't mean that what they would say is not true or not. But all I'm saying is that, you know, most of the drivers out here are just trying to recruit for their own company because it can turn into a lot of money. You've noticed when you had to fuel in California, your miles go down. I wonder if it's because of the biodiesel. Yeah, biodiesel maybe. They run a higher percentage of it in California. I only ran it a couple times when I filled up at Willie's place, when it was still Willie's down there south of Dallas. And I never really noticed too much difference in the mileage of the truck. But it was summertime. Not sure. It's supposed to be a solvent, though. So supposedly it cleans all your insides of your engine out. Here in California, beat up international. Oh, big, like 9400s from the 90s? Holy mackerel. Who's running that? Yeah, I'm sure that's not California CARB compliant. They probably exempt themselves from the law. What do I think of getting a truck route ticket? I think if you're not on a truck route, you probably get a ticket. What do you mean by that? Hey, Todd, what's happening out there? Ban the cars, not the trucks. Yes, Ivona, exactly. Get the cars out of the road so we can get going somewhere. And then drivers can always stop. If they feel unsafe, you can always stop yourself. It's mandated in California. Oh, all right. I've got a $2,000 emergency travel since the aero business. Well, so you're going to go home like first class from wherever you're going to like have a limousine take you. But yeah, that's always a good idea. Because of aero, if you were driving then anybody, they just closed, right? and the bank actually shut the cards off because of all the shenanigans. But drivers were stuck. Just they couldn't fuel their truck, anything. They were just stuck. Steve is checking in from Wyoming, going to Denver. Nice. What's the weather? Cold, but it looked like it was green. I was checking on Sundays across the country. So at least yesterday, most of the interstates looked green on Google Maps traffic, which is what I recommend and use. And it's free. So is it a bad thing on your record? Well, if the DOT gave you the truck route ticket, then it's got CSA points. If a local cop, or it was not a DOT inspection cop, then you just got a ticket, and so it's on your record. It's not the worst thing. I don't know how many points it would even be. Probably a couple. You'll get a job. I mean, is it a bad thing? Well, any ticket is probably not great, but I don't think one ticket is going to stop anybody from doing anything. No waste of your time. Yes. So Ice Road Truckers, what do I think? I like the show, okay? And I've applied for many years, sent my resume to Carlisle, and never heard back from them, but I liked it. It's not coming back. From what I understand, their last year was the last season of the show. That's what last I heard about it. California is using the 4900s. Oh, from the late 80s. Do you put your fist through? They're that rusty. That's crazy. I guarantee you that they exempt themselves from safety regulations, from CARB, the emissions, all that. They probably exempt state and municipalities, states, cities, counties from the law so that they can run these old trucks. They gave you a DOT inspection and a ticket. Okay, well then you got CSA points also. You can look those up at Higher Right. You can get that's a DAC report though. So your company could actually look that up. You'll have to turn that into your company if you work at one. If you own your own truck, you could turn in yourself and then scold yourself for getting a ticket, I guess, if you own the place. Look, it's going to be some points. It isn't the end of the world. That kind of ticket is not a high list ticket like an out of service or some kind of safety thing. It'll be a few points. It's not going to be any big deal, though. As long as you don't have a bunch of tickets, I wouldn't worry about it. They'll have a hard time kicking you out of trucks. So you keep $5,000 for fuel to go somewhere else. I guess if it's your truck, they would, right? Oh, Luke Perry died? I didn't hear about that. I heard that he did have a stroke, but I didn't hear that he died. That's a shame. Very young. You never know, right? You never know. Even in my extreme upper 30s, you just never know. Whatever you're wanting to do, go do it. What are you waiting for? Hello, Dave. Cold in Pennsylvania. Okay, so, and they had the interstate shut because of the 4-inch blizzard. Look, last week, Thursday, they said 8 inches here, and then by Saturday, they're like 1 to 2 inches. And really, last night, it looked like less than an inch because I shoveled out the wife's car, meaning basically brushed it off with a brush. So that was the end of it. It didn't turn into anything. Homie ain't getting stuck. Yeah, don't be stuck and nowhere, as they say. They had drivers selling tire chains they could sell to get home. Yeah, Arrow abandoned. Look, they did. Drivers, I remember that, right? Drivers were selling the stuff off their load and just to get themselves home. And that's why, which is really wrong. It's still not your stuff to sell. But, I understand it. You at least have a few $100s with you. Save that up. $30 a week for 10 weeks is enough money to get you home from anywhere in the country. Because you just never know. You never know. Randy, what's going on? So he did die at 52. Yeah, that's a super shame. You just don't know when your last day is. So whatever you're wanting to do, I wish I could go do this, go do it. I wish I could be this, go be it. Go do something. Been stuck at the receiver for 5 hours, haven't felt the truck move. Well, the question is, King Bob the trucker, what is happening to your paycheck during that 5 hours? And what's happening on your log as well? Thanks. I'd ask a veteran driver, only been driving for 2 years. Never had a ticket before that wasn't. Oh, that was your first. All right. So first ticket, no sweat, right? It's just a truck route ticket. I wouldn't sweat it. If you are a company driver, you'll have to turn it in, which you probably should have done already. And otherwise, no sweat. One ticket, not a big deal. Pay it. Be sure to pay it. Even if they say they'll pay it, be sure it gets paid because having an unpaid ticket can result in a warrant for your arrest. So if there's anything to pay, be sure that it gets paid. Follow up yourself to make sure, no matter what they say. And then just go on with your life and don't sweat it, right? I don't see how drivers can drive on a no street light intersection road late at night. We all have lights. Personally, our trucks have lights. That's hilarious, right? I was working for Arrow when they went bankrupt in '09, had enough fuel to make it home, so you got lucky. Then went to work for TMC. What a nightmare. Which one was a nightmare? But as you know, since you were at Arrow, some drivers didn't have the fuel to get home. They were just stuck. And many of them just left their trucks and loads because who's going to buy fuel in a truck? It's cheaper just to rent yourself a car to go home. Oh, you got a haircut? Had to pay full price? Yeah, you didn't go to Haircut Corner in Lafayette? I wish they would sponsor the show so I could get free haircuts. Half a head of hair is half price. No truck barking there, though. Caltrans has not bought new maintenance trucks. PG&E has new bucket maintenance trucks. Yeah, because they make more money, right? The electric company. Brand new construction equipment and all owner-operator specs. Nice, right? But I'm sure the state exempts themselves conveniently, right? Like Ivona, right? Do as I do, not do as I say, not as I do, right? Exactly. 80's green all the way across, but cold. Yeah, last night it looked fine. I thought, oh, people are going to make it across 80, no problem. PG&E is buying all new owner-operator spec 567s. That'd probably be a good job, really. Working for the electric company, pension, everything, not bad. Free electricity, just turn yourself on. Sometimes I turn your headlights off and see how far you can drive without them. You just use the radar. It tells you if there's anything in front of you. YouTube's buffering. What the issue is during live feeds. Oh, it's probably me. I get that sometimes. The picture sticks or whatever. Even though I have the router right here, like a foot away from me. Try to see if a legal service can get it reduced. I don't know what they were to reduce that thing to. That's not a terrible ticket to get. It's not like it's speeding. Crete was not upset about it. I paid it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because it's not like 58 and a 30 or something like that. So I don't think there are that much problems. Ivona says it's 3 years and you lose them anyway. First ticket on a truck route. If I was Crete, I wouldn't be bothered by it either, right? No problem. How much is that, curiously, by the way? What kind of ticket, what does that cost you for that kind of ticket? I'm always curious about that. Isn't PG&E in bankruptcy? I don't know. They shouldn't be, considering what electric bills are. At least Duke Energy here, by the way. Oh, hey, what's going on? Sunny and 75. Nice. Considering Schaefer. All right, that'd be all right. 700 weekly during training. That's pretty good. 4 weeks on, a week off, then 4 more weeks. Then greater than 43 cents a mile for solo Western. 43 Western is not terrible. And Schaefer, good place. So, yeah, head on over there. And remember, you got to start somewhere. So, absolutely. That's way better than other refrigerated carriers that we may know about. Oh, it was $265. Wow, I was thinking $50. All right, still worth it for the small amount of points. I mean, it's just one of those things you got to pay. It won't affect anything. As long as you don't get like 10 more tickets, it won't affect anything. The Volvo I drive is in the shop for a blown turbo. Wow. So you're driving a Mack Pinnacle. Wow. What do you think? That's a nice loaner truck, too. I had some junk box loaner truck for my truck being in the shop. Holy moly. I posted on my Instagram a picture of the 10-speed manual in it. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I'm on Instagram, by the way, at trucking_answers. How about that? You can see other weird pictures over there that I post every once in a while. I'm starting at CRST. Well, no. If you could run out of that place immediately, you'll do much better. Please leave there right now while you still can. 10 over ticket in Iowa was 100. Yeah, I mean, 265 seems like a really high ticket for a truck route ticket. So, but if you got a lawyer, which would cost you anyway, if you're not part of a legal plan, I don't know what they would reduce it to. Jaywalking? I mean, maybe. You'd probably pay the lawyer as much as you're going to pay the ticket, unless you have a plan already. Not worth it on that kind of ticket. Speeding, maybe. Drivers do not get points on Craigslist changes for motor cares. They get points on their CSA score. Hey, Brian, yeah, poet. Look, the poetry division called me up. They go, hey, we got this idea. We had a meeting about it, thought about it, and we did it. Glad everybody liked it. I didn't know how that would go. Why is Creed crap and Schaefer good? I don't know. Why is Creed crap? Who says that? More and more Mack semis are in the city. They're sharp looking. Look, Mack is making a comeback. I like the way that Pinnacle looks. I really do. I've always thought Max looked, at least okay once they went to that CH or whatever, because it's a little bit different. It's not the same as everybody else. But a Pinnacle, I mean, that is the top of driving, the Pinnacle. I just think they're unusual looking, and nice for them to give you a loaner truck. The DMV just wants their money. That's true. They don't really care that you're on a truck route. Mack has a better sounding air horn than a Volvo. Do they at least have a string for it? At least the Volvos we had, which was on the steering wheel like a car. All right, you're quite welcome about that. Just put the ticket in your background, right? You pull one reefer, 2 low reefers and 1 dry load, so the pay's worth it. Okay, that's fair, right? I'm just unusual that they would do that. Anyone else here, the driver that got caught doing 85 and a 55? That's impressive. Who can go 85? Drivers do not get CSA points. You get points on your DAC thing, let's put it that way. Only problem with Creed or Schaefer might be mileage dropping off at some point. I haven't heard a lot of problems with them from people other than we've heard here today where people are making $600 for 6 days. Otherwise, you don't hear a lot of problems with them. And the pay there goes up pretty fast. It's not a loaner. The company's, it's your extra truck. An MP7 Mack with a 10-speed. The Volvo's a DD13. They need to crank up the engines, right? What do you think? Are those both automatics then too? The 10-speed auto, the Volvo I-Shift or whatever they call it? Yeah, Creed is a top company. What's the deal with that? Started with Aero was a good company before the old man died and his kids. Should be ashamed. Yes, that's a lot of companies, right? Look at Walmart, their stores. When Sam Walton was running the place, it was great. And now look at the place. Everything in there is garbage. I mean, come on. Blue Lion. Exactly. Run away. If you're not there yet, you can go somewhere else. From what you hear, Creed Carriers is one of the better mega carriers. Yeah, Peterbilt. Exactly. Exactly. But when... you can have a problem with your DM, your dispatcher or whatever there too. So, I mean, I don't know. John, hello from Maryland, my KLLM fan. Well, somebody's got to be, right? I had you going on the poem. It was pretty good. And I didn't know that it was Dr. Seuss's birthday this week. I would have talked to the poetry department and made it in the style of a Dr. Seuss poem. So I would have had to have the poetry experts work on that, but I didn't make the connection of that. Oh, Mac has the string for the air horn. Okay, good. Because, look, we need it. I never liked the Volvo where you push the steering wheel. I just don't like it. Every time you got a four-wheeler ticket, points were waived in front of a judge as long as you paid. Is this the same for drivers? It's up to the judge, right? I would say no matter where you go, that's up to the judge. I would think. Every time, let's see. Okay, so they're both 10-speed manuals. Always like the looks of the Mac R model. Oh, because it looks like a truck ready for work. Yeah, it was. It would take a beating. I used to run containers from Chicago rail yards, ironically to Lafayette here, to the Subaru plant when I lived up there. And I ran over into the rail yards once. I crossed over the tracks. There's lots of tracks where there was no crossing. Just bounced down and bounced over the tracks in this thing and just bounced right over it. It was a wild ride, but I don't know. The truck kept driving like nothing ever happened to it. James Edwards, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Everything bounced off of everything. I mean, it was a disaster, but the truck kept running. 30 over the speed limit here is careless and negligent and get towed. Yes. Not every time, but more and more. I think that driver would get towed for 85 and a 55 in a semi. I think they could be arrested for reckless driving or something. I'll tell you what, the company might fire you if you're a company driver, but how many companies can go 85? So he must own the truck himself. Missions won't allow trucking manufacturers to do this, but they need to make new trucks because a lot of truckers shift gears by the sound of the engine. Yeah, not anymore. You just step on it and the truck shifts itself by the sound of the engine. At like 2,200, I just don't understand it. They pounding your head always never go high RPMs, so I never shift high. And now these automatics, It shifts at 2200 all the time. Sam's Club is going down the tubes also. I'm not a member, so I don't know. We'll take your word for it, but owned by Walmart, so I agree. It would probably be a disaster in there too. Bill, what's happening out there? You know, Sam Walton always said, I remember reading this because I read his biography, he would just park in the parking lot like everybody else. He said, look, I'm no better than anybody else here, so he would just park in the employee parking lot at whatever space there was, and he didn't come in a Rolls Royce or anything. So, you know, that says something right there. He said, I don't need my own parking spot. I work here like everybody else does. I'll tell you what, that doesn't happen with his family now. Don't forget to change fuel filters in the Arctic air pushing across, especially if you add anti-gel. Well, we have a Davco filter in most of the trucks where I can see it. So what do you think about that? And what would be the reason to change the fuel filter if you add anti-gel? And that's an honest question because I've never done that or heard it. So what do you think about that? And we have Davcos that I can see through. All our trucks are old Penske trucks. Okay. And Penske's got Pinnacles. We used to have 379s with 13 speeds and a 550 cat. That'd be super sweet. But they aren't compliant. Oh, so California shut you down. Too bad. Did I hear about changing the driving age from 25 to 21? No. But I did hear they're going to change it from 21 to 18. It's just a bill, and it's being pushed by the food service industry, like Cisco and all these places are members of that industry, you know, and so they want to change it to 18. And here's the thing. Whether it's a good idea or not, I'm not sure. If people are trained, I don't know what the problem is, but what 18-year-old's going to go drive a truck? None of them. They're going to get like no applicants as it is. It's not really going to help. You're saving up for nice trucks. I think a Pinnacle would be a nice truck, right? I think the Mac R model would be fun to drive. Mine had a 5-speed manual. Okay, it had a 5. I'm sure many of you remember that 5-speed manual. Okay, and the 4 to 5 was long, so you had to really roll it up to 2,000 or whatever, and so you could shift, and it went to like 1,100 in 5th gear. Really something. All right, no power at all. 5-speed manual. Any guesses about how they might change the hours of service? They were saying something about flexibility. I was going to do a video, but it seemed like, oh, well, they didn't really give any information. So I didn't want to do a video that says, here's a video with no information. So what they've said is they're going to make an announcement. They want more flexibility. He keeps saying hours of service and sleeper berth. Martinez, the head of the FMCSA. So I think the way he's talking about it, I think you're going to be able to split your sleeper from what he says, you know, as long as it's 2 hours. So 2-8, 3-7, 4-6. I think they're going to do that. I think that will happen. Anything else is really up for grabs. He hasn't really specified anything else. It's so annoying. They're saying end of March, so I'm hoping truck show. Okay, Mid-America Truck Show, where I hope to see everybody last weekend of March. I'll be there on Friday all day, working live. I'll be out there live. Come by and say hi. I'll be the one holding all the cameras walking around, so and my entourage, so of me walking around. So there we go. I hope everybody has already got their tickets, and it will come down. If the DOT pulls you over and says the tire's no good, but you inspect it early, does that still go on your record? If they write it up, it goes on your record. If they put it in an official inspection, it goes on your record. Whether it's true or not, it's really tough to fight. So whatever they say, yes, it will go on your record. You would drive a truck at 18, right? You'd be the only one, though. I would say, go ask your friends, right? How many of them really would honestly consider it? Probably hardly anybody. They just wouldn't. The searing the poacher was good. They deserve the, well, you know, you all voted for that. So I appreciate that the poetry was good. It was recommended by my poetry division. You didn't know that Trucking Answers had divisions, did you? It does. JB advertises their owner-operators make $125. Yeah, that wouldn't cover fuel. That's not great. That is not great. $125 gross, and you got to buy the truck and everything? Not great. You're not, if somebody's grossing $125 and owns the truck, you know, if you have any kind of truck payment, you don't make any more than a company driver. No way, right? Your new Freightliner is a 10-speed manual, but won't rev past 1,409th speed. Oh, your company has that turned off. Then they can change that. Your company can go in and change that, and if you own it, you can change it. Go to the dealer and open up the revs. But they do that so that you'll, you know, keep the RPMs down. What starting company would I recommend? It partly depends on where you live, but I always say Maverick first. Is it possible to see your DAC? Yes. Is it free? I'm not sure. HireRight.com is where you'd go and click on I want a copy of my DAC report or whatever it is, and I should click it to see if it costs anything. If it is, it's some kind of nominal cost, but somebody here probably already knows and will say so, but I'm not sure exactly if it costs. You can see your DAC, absolutely. Is Sam's going bankrupt? I don't know. I don't go there, so hopefully. Hillbilly in Philly. Thank you very much. I appreciate that today. Thank you. Do you put on your charmer on DOT inspections? Yeah. Well, look, at a DOT inspection, and it's not like I get inspected all the time, but look, I've been inspected like everybody else. Go out there like you know what you're talking about, have everything ready, have done a good pre-trip, and know what you're talking about. And I think it gets you pretty far in an inspection. Here's all my paperwork. It's all ready. Here, I'm my logbook, here's my other logbook. Give them all your logbooks, everything. Just be ready and be professional. That's all they want. Let's see. HireRight is free. All right. So somebody knows that. So you can get your DAC report for free once a year. So kind of like your credit report. All right. G and P Trucking out of Columbia, South Carolina. Oh, nice. Is that where you went over to, or are you thinking of going there? You got your Class B at 18 to just the experience. You can get your CDL at 18, and you could always run intrastate. So, like in Indianapolis, there's a couple of food service companies that are already hiring 18-year-olds in their ads because they stay within the state of Indiana. So that already can happen. So I don't know how many 18-year-olds they get to do it. I don't know of any that would do it other than one right here. But I really don't think they're going to get that many. And they have to have all this training and stuff, which companies will probably just forge. One free copy of your DAC can be viewed online. All right, so there you go. Go over to HireRight, get your free copy, and check it out. And see if there's any mistakes or whatever. Dan ordered his DAC last month totally free. How many pages was it? Hopefully one, right? On your PACCAR, you have a fuel filter gauge. When it starts getting high, your company changes it. Yeah. That's what they do here with the Davco, where you can look, it's clear, right? So you can see when it fills up, that's when they change the filter. They don't change them until then. And I've had owner-operators tell me this, that they carry extra fuel filters with them, and when the truck stops running, that's when they change it, because that's when they know it's full. So I think that's an interesting way to do it. It only takes a second on the side of the road, depending on what engine you have, to spin the thing off and spin another one on there, really. So then you know you've gotten your full use out of the filter. I don't know. They change them here. When it gets full, you can either wait for your service or you can take it over to the shop and they'll go, oh, okay, change it, and they change it out. If you got your CDL at 18, you would do dump truck and log truck. Yeah, you can already do that now, even without them changing the law. As long as those trucks don't leave the state, you're all set with it, if somebody would hire you. Insurance and that is going to be a problem hiring someone that's younger. So that's why I think a larger company is going to be more likely to be interested in that, because they're going to be able to afford the insurance hit, because a lot of their insurance is self-insurance. Most of the log truck companies run max. Yeah, that's where they are, vocational use. Other than these new Pinnacles and stuff, they've always tried to break into the road market, right? And they just never went anywhere. They never got any gription on it. Full report is 25 pages. Holy mackerel. What do they print on there? I should go check mine out. You think about moving out of California and bringing your family with you to northern Idaho and haul logs. Just the change of the, the living standard is going to change on how much it costs you to live. That's going to be great. That sounds hard on fuel pumps. Yeah, it does, really. To wait till the thing stops, yeah, I agree. But I've heard owner-operators say because they want to get the most money. And here, they wait till the filter is full because you can see through it. So once you get up to the top, you can take it and get it changed if you want to. CSA points charged to you and your DOT number. DOT number is the trucking company. Yeah, any points you both get. Isn't that great? NASCAR ran some of the older Max CH13s a while ago. They always had the nicest trucks, right? But what do they need, 40 drivers or whatever? I don't follow that. 50 drivers? Agriculture, you can drive with no CDL as long as you stay in a radius. Yeah, you can do an ag haul, and there's some kind of weird FMCSA laws about it. So, agree. Depending on how far you go, they'll let basically anybody drive it. Around there, Mac has lost almost all vocational sales to Pete and Kenworth. That's disappointing, because that's their bread and butter, right? Without that, there's no market, because they have a really, really small percentage of the road market, certainly. And when anybody have an opinion about XPO, let's see what people think about XPO. Southeastern Freight Line's part of that, all on the CFI companies. Your filter plug, Peterbilt said you have to change the one in the glass and the one in the engine at the same time. Yeah, they change them. When it's full, they change the filters. Whatever filters, they change them. I agree. I don't do it. Okay, I wouldn't... I don't own the truck. They take care of all that. If you're an owner-operator and take a load, does the load broker check your driving record? I don't know. I don't know. Don't they? Isn't there... There's some loads... See, I don't do the owner-operator part. Aren't there some loads that require a different CSA score, or you have to have a satisfactory rating, not a conditional rating? I'm sure there's an owner-operator here to tell us that. You saw an FLC flat top. Wow, pulling a log truck. Yikes. All the antiques go to Georgia to pull logs. Southeastern and G&P Trucking are sister. Oh, so they're down there. So G&P is all part of that too? Well, I liked G&P. You know, they'll take students as well, and they had pretty good pay. They had local routes, regional. You know, I've recommended that place to people that live in that area before. Have I done a review on the Pilot Flying J? I know their crude oil division is hiring. Not for drivers, but I have said, you know, if you wanted to be home running fuel, if you live by one of the terminals, would be a good way to do it if you've got a tank and hazmat. And you also know you have parking, because you're going to park over the fuel pump hole things, whatever they call them. That's some technical knowledge right there, fuel pump holes. So write that down. But I mean, you don't have to worry. That kind of job, you don't worry about parking. You've solved your parking problem with that kind of job. So it depends on the broker. All right, so some brokers might want that information. What I see about DOT, everybody has some type of violation. Most people do get violations at some point. Light Bright, hey, what's going on? Good to see you here. Thank you for being here today. Oh, Chad, well, thank you. Get moving, make some money for your company and yourself. Mostly for them, that's what we say here. If your CSA score is bad, no one will hire you. Yes, if you get too many points, good luck getting a job, because that is checked by a company, certainly. Flash Foods runs a lot of Max. What's Flash Foods? That might be something down there. Is that like the Piggly Wiggly of the Southeast? It seems every trucker hates DEF. It just takes it's just annoying to fill it up. So, because you got to stand 20 below zero, and I got to stand there for 3 more minutes. So, that's a first world problem where I think, oh, this is going to be 3 more minutes to fill this truck up. We have smaller tanks, so some of the trucks, they got 25s and some got a 12. My truck has a 12-gallon tank, so it doesn't last as long. You knew somebody up north that ran 3 Pete 521 needle nose log trucks. Oh, and a W900. He moved up to Washington out of California. Wow. They're a tanker company. Oh, all right. Does any trucker not have DOT violations? And so they have automatics too, right? Ryan is in here late today. Uh-oh. What's going on with that? But thank you for coming anyway. DEF pumps are frozen in Beloit. Yes, Chris, that's a good point. In the cold weather, right, I should mention this more in the winter, the DEF pumps at the truck stops, they freeze. A lot of them freeze. The freeze point is high, 20 degrees from what I heard, 21 degrees. DEF pumps freeze, even though sometimes, like at the Loves, they wrap them with that thing or whatever, they're still not warm. Always in the winter especially, every time I stop, I fill it up because I don't want to run low and be at a place where I have to get it. So always fill it every time the pump works. Because like Chris says, you get to a place where it's really cold, especially where it's cold snap, the pumps freeze. And you can't buy it. And you're inside buying it, those jugs. I can't buy the jugs. My Com data card won't allow me to buy them. I can only buy it at the pump. I'd have to call. And they're like, why are you buying that? Why didn't you fill it up? So I got to explain stuff. Always buy it yourself at the pump every time you fill up, especially in the winter. You want to let it go in the summer, that's one thing. Buy DF in the jug if you need to, Vlad. I can't buy the jug. They will not allow me, Ivona. They will not allow us to buy jugs. You got to buy it at the pump. And so I fill it up all the time. Are the mega cares better suited for beginners? Well, they're the ones basically that hire beginner drivers now on the road. So some are better suited than others, certainly. Just like Animal Farm when in George Orwell book. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Anybody read that? I'm the only one. PG&E filed Chapter 11 so the utility wouldn't have to pay millions from the damages. All right, so they're the one from the fire because it is alleged that some of their practices of not cutting trees and their equipment started the fire that burned like half the state down. So that's why they filed bankruptcy. All right. So Chris says that 12 DEF freezes. So this cold snap in Wisconsin was below zero. So now the pumps don't work. $18 for 2.5 gallon box. Right. That's probably why they don't let me buy it inside. You don't have a problem with the automatics, but feel like you should learn how to drive a manual before an automatic. Yes. Many of the mega carriers run automatics. True. Should you learn on a manual? Yes. But if you can only learn on an automatic, get your license and worry about it later. Everything is figure outable. So everything, you can solve everything as you go. I'd rather you got your license than like, oh, I can't do it because I'm only going to get it automatic. Go get the automatic license and then worry about what you're going to do next. William has a DEF tank on the passenger side. That's brilliant. What kind of truck is that? What kind of truck that brilliantly puts it on the wrong side of the truck? Who does that? IDEF tank is on the right. So Zane also. What is going on? Who's putting the tank on the wrong side? Walmart Trans still runs 10-speed manuals. Oh, that's good. They at least have one good point. Love so Vlad is saying that's a Pete. What's going on? Leslie's DF's on the passenger side too. What is happening out here? Am I in backwards world? Did I go through some kind of zone? Ivona, boo, Walmart. Yeah. Look, we got to give them that for having a manual. You're against the automatic braking because it causes more accidents than it saves. I don't like it at all. It goes off. You go under a bridge sign and hits the brakes. It's crazy. Veteran manual drive don't like the automatics, but you have to deal with it. I drove manuals for many years. Now in an automatic, I don't like it, but it's no problem driving it. I've gotten to learn it better in the wintertime. That's where I think it could do better. I don't like it shifting all the time. You have to put it in manual mode anyway because I don't necessarily want to shift going up a hill when it's snowy. I'd rather just, cruise my way up. So I think they could do better. Peterbilt car haul or day cab. It's on the wrong side. So Pete's are the problem here. If there's so much BS in the trucking industry, who is the newbie coming in to drive? Well, new people don't know about all the BS in the trucking industry. And so they'll go get the wrong company, not make any money, and then quit the whole industry. And it's too bad. The fire was not caused by PG&E. I did say allegedly for anybody that was listening. Cal Fire is investigating and has found evidence that I've seen yourself. They've not announced it. I will not say what happened, but it was not PG&E's fault. It is only an alleged thing, and I'm certainly not saying it here. But that is what the thing was, and that is why they filed, though, right? Because people have alleged that. I want to pull the fuel pumps backwards. I always wonder, when there's one truck going the wrong way, is it because their pumps on the wrong side? They're a tank? Must be smoking something with the DEF on the right side. Who would do that? I don't understand that. You know what you could do also? You know what you can do? You could start the next pump, go to that side, start it just for DEF and yank that hose over there. It seemed to be pretty long. And fill your truck up from the next pump and go in and get 2 receipts. Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451 in 1984, Chabot required junior high on up, and a few other books. Yes. Somebody else reads. I love it. I believe Volvo doesn't even have a manual transmission option. You can probably order a manual. I know at Freightliner, if you go to the Freightliner site, you can spec a truck out and see what it'll look like. You have to order the manual. It comes with an automatic. You have to special order, but you can still get one in it. Because I spec'd out a Cascadia to see if I could get a 3-bunk truck from Freightliner. You can't. You're driving a company truck in 2018, so international's on the wrong side too. What is going on here? Automatics are the consequence of 2 week school that throw drivers to the wolves, barely able to hit the gears. Well, when I went to truck school, it was 3 weeks in 1988. So a Monday you started, you went that week 5 days, next week 5 days, and then the third week we tested on Thursday. So it was really 10, 12, 13 days, and then you tested, and if you failed on Thursday, you retested on Friday. That's all it was then. And so I don't know. It's longer than that now, I think. So really, it's gotten longer. Seen Pete drop trailer in a field line and turn around. Oh, that's a good way to do it, too. That would hold the island for you. Your dad drives a 2017 389 automatic and hates it because it shifts slowly, and he hates the PACCAR. I've heard a lot of bad problems with the PACCAR. I never drove one. It doesn't shift fast enough depending on what you're doing. I agree with that. He needs to put it in manual mode and hold the gear depending on what he's doing, which you just hold the shift down where it says M. TA and Breezewood has standalone DEF pumps for the passenger side. Oh, that's the first one I've seen like that. Automatics have problems on hills. The backing problem is solved now. Adjusting the tandems, that we can solve that. Try to get out of mud. Okay. So for adjusting tandems, press the hill start assist deactivate. Press that button, right? That helps when you're backing up and for tandem sliding. And also, if you on these, at least this Freightliner, you have to depress the accelerator quickly to the floor, as they say, and let it go. And that puts it into creep mode, and then it will back up. It will creep up to the dock, and so you have that solved. And hill start assist is why you have problem moving the tandems around, really. Really, anytime you're backing up, hooking up, sliding tandems, turn off the hill start assist on these automatics. It really helps. What trucking company is hardest to get into? I don't know if any are that hard to get into. Walmart always was, but they've reduced their, requirements now. I don't think any are too. If you have any kind of experience, none are that difficult. You started with the wrong company, but still love the industry. Yeah, you got lucky because a lot of people quit because they are at the wrong place, and then of course they get $400 a week for a while and they quit, which I hardly blame them. You have a PVC pipe with a DEF nozzle at the end that stretches behind the cab. You shouldn't have to build your own contraption to fill your truck up. Your dad used to drive a Western Star, nice, with a Cat C12. Small cat for having a car hauler, wow. And he misses it. Boy, I'm surprised he had such a small cat in that thing. Buying a manual in 2019 is like buying a new car with a CD player. Let the dinosaurs fade away. It's a new era. Take the 12-speed. Automatics are great. Yes. Look, it's okay. I like it. It works good. I wish it shifted a little different in the snow, but, it hasn't had any problems, like any maintenance issues. So I guess I'm a fan otherwise. If you'll do a few of these other things like this hill start and creep mode and learn how to do that, you'll be a lot more satisfied with it. I don't know why it shifts such at high RPMs. Michael, what's happening? You got your first truck driving job in 200, so that you have been driving longer than all of us. You can't justify $6,000 for 3 weeks. That's $2,000 a week. I mean, it took me 3 weeks also. Yeah, Michael. So that's what it was. It used to be 3 weeks. So I don't know that it can't be any shorter than that now. And that was all manuals then, right? Want a glider kit because there's so many problems with DEF. People talk about problems, and it seems like trucks either have a lot of problems or have no problems. I had no problems. I got this truck new, no problems. But then we've had several that came with this one, just a couple digits off. They've been in the shop a bunch of times, had the whole thing replaced. So it's like you just never know. Are the hours of service as confusing as they look to an outsider, or is it simple? Just watch your clock. Look, it seems complicated. Once you do it every day, certainly you'll get it. So if you're not driving yet, it seems like it's complicated. It just breaks down to a few numbers. You'll get it. Don't worry about that. That's the least of your worries, really. I still look like Adam Savage from Mythbusters. I wish. I'd like to meet that guy. I've watched every one of those, and the kids ones too. I love that show. What starter company would you recommend for Georgia? I think Maverick will hire you in Georgia, in fact. So will G&P down there. Thanks for the hard work and something to watch on Monday. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. 3 trucking schools in Philly are under 3,800 for 160 hours. Not bad. 80 and 80. So, yeah, mine was 1,595 in 1988. Some of us need manuals. I don't know if you need a manual or not. Need. Learn your hours of service and study them until you get it. Yes. And certainly as you use them, it'll certainly get a lot easier. It's not a bad idea to buy a logbook at a truck stop and go fill it out for 30 days. Practice. I mean, practicing on a fake logbook. I've heard that 1 out of 100 stay in trucking after training. Yeah, probably. It's not many. People don't realize, they don't understand what trucking is. They think, oh, I'm going to go drive and, be like, Jerry Reed or whatever. It isn't like that. And being gone from your family, it's a whole different lifestyle and everything, as we all know. So I'm not telling anything anybody knows, but if you get into trucking and don't realize what it is, then you're like, forget this. I'm gone 5 weeks, 6 weeks, forget it, when you start out. And plus, if you're at the wrong place, you may only be making $400, $500. So people quit. And that's why they're not set up to succeed. That's what companies should do, is set you up to succeed. Evil Ken Evil says, I look like Chuck Norris. Boy, that would be really great. If you can't drive a manual, get a job somewhere else. Okay. I mean, when we started bringing them in, people said that, but I don't think anybody quit here over that. But absolutely, look, if that's something you want, I'm in. You should quit and go get what you want. Life's too short to not have that. If that's something that means that much to you, certainly. Had to pull in a rest area. PG&E wouldn't file for 11 if they thought they were innocent. I don't know. I mean, they're only alleged of these things, so one school in Philly had no classroom. I was just a manual on the pre-trip and rest on the road. We didn't have a lot of classroom. Okay, it was a lot of driving, and they thought, oh, you'll just go and learn the rest of it. It was just to get your CDL. Which was a Class D license then. They didn't have a CDL yet. Try shifting twin sticks. I had a twin stick Mac years ago. Never did triple sticks or anything, but I had a twin sticker. They're going to be phasing out DEF systems. That's what I've heard. I don't know about that. Too many issues and it costs the company. Some do, right? Some have been a nightmare, and then some don't cost them anything. Molds mind. The automatics are good. The automatic is pretty good most of the time. And if you'll just hit a few buttons, you can get out of a mud hole too. Turn off the traction control, right? Turn off hill start, turn off traction control, put it in gear and step on it, and it'll spin all day long. You worked at CRST for 6 months. Check your advice to Martin. Made $535, 2 days of work. Oh, nice. Went to Martin, made $535 in 2 days. $535 for 2 days. Which place, right? Got your CDL through a community college in Texas for free with workforce grant. That's the best way to do it. Not every state lets you go free, but if they will let you go free, absolutely, that's the way to go. Canadian-built Freightliner 2-axle. Mine was made in Mexico. Box truck have DEF on the right side. That's crazy. Had to back in the fuel island every time. Yeah, that's crazy. Got a lot of crazy looks. Yeah, it should be on the other side. You'll keep your 13-speed eating. That's nice. I didn't like the automatics. Or for the guys who don't know how to creep in a traffic jam. Oh, well, it is easier creeping, right? Your automatic saves your knee. Yes. Just don't give it to the nice officer if you're running an ELD. Well, I mean, for new drivers, they could maybe practice it at home after truck school or whatever. Fill out the thing before they get their license so they can understand the hours of service better. Golf, do look, man, boy, that'd be great, wouldn't it? I'd be kicking my way to success. Chuck Norris. Mother-in-law says how stressful it can be. All you do is sit on your butt all day. Nice. Tell her so is she. Eating bonbons and watching Oprah all day. Mother-in-law. Yeah, driver since 1990 yourself, Brian. Yeah. So, I mean, years ago, those were more common. It was in a Mac, twin stick. And, yeah, the automatic's much better than that. I'll tell you that. Engineers don't seem to care where they put things. It's the trucker and mechanics. The engineer says, oh, it goes perfectly right here, exactly in the spot, right? Without thinking, oh, the fuel pumps, the engineer may not even know that almost every truck stop, the DEF's only on one side. So to see them on the other side is just crazy. And on a box truck, there's no reason they can't go on the correct side. Backing is bad in an automatic, says Pamela. If it'll creep, right, the new ones creep. So put it in creep mode, turn off hill start assist, and back it, and it backs up pretty good, I think. Chuck Norris at truckinganswers.com. Ooh, I could get that email. He'd probably be mad at me, though. I could just add that to it, but I bet I don't want him on my, behind. Holy mackerel. PG&E transformers are found with bullet holes. Yeah, that's how the campfire. That's crazy. Why would you shoot a transformer? I mean, they can turn into other things. It could have got up and killed you. They're lucky that didn't happen. Hey, man, you just started driving and been with U.S. Express for 3 months. Any advice you can give you? Yeah, go somewhere else. I love the job, but might have to leave. Not happy with the truck they gave me. It's always in the shop. What do they pay you while the truck's in the shop? And that answer is going to be helpful to other drivers. So while your truck is broke down in the shop, how much are you making? And what year is it anyway? What year truck did they give you as a new driver there? Because they tout all these new trucks. Do you get paid for all my time? I get a salary now, so basically I do. And like a couple of weeks ago, my run didn't go. There was some kind of load problem, so I didn't go anywhere. I got paid. I stayed home and got paid. So yeah, that's pretty good. How many miles are you getting a week there? Yeah, I'd like to know that too, right? How many miles do you get at US? If you're an owner-operator, how do I find load brokers? I don't know. I'm not an owner-operator. Jay might help with that, which gives me a chance to talk about Jay's show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central at Auto Transport Intel right here on YouTube. He does a live show on Tuesday nights. Also, Truckers Coach does this kind of thing. That might be a place to go to look for that kind of information. Brokers are the posters, right? Call Mega Cares. Yeah. I just don't understand how a place, a lot of these places do this, like U.S. Express. So they get a driver, they're just new, and so then they give them an old truck that's in the shop all the time. They don't make any money. The driver leaves, and U.S. complains to the government that there's a driver shortage. Do yourself a favor and leave the Express. Oh, yeah, that we're going to just shorten it to the Express. U.S. Express gets a bad rap. How do they get drivers? Well, they get new drivers. A lot of these places that don't pay a lot, which they were really low on the pay list, if you were new to the industry, you wouldn't know. And they all, they stand there in front of a Lamborghini or whatever and go, oh, look, this could be you in just 3 months of driving here or whatever. And so you can make $1,400, but you're not going to, So that's the real problem. New drivers don't know. They don't know until they get there that, oh, this is not great. Then they start talking to other drivers. So it's a 2015, which is not terribly old, with only 400 on it, not bad. And it's usually in the shop a day or two, so no pay. And then the maintenance doesn't even fix the truck. Great. There you go. And that's a good thing a lesson to learn. Make sure that you get breakdown pay at a place. Here, you can't sit 2 days and not get paid anything. That's ridiculous. And you should tell them, that's ridiculous. Go to the Express and say, that's ridiculous. Do I ever start laughing when you call the Mega Cares and they tell you their offer? I'm like, oh, you must not. I said experienced, not new drivers. They're like, what are you talking about? But see, I can't get mad at the recruiters. They don't drive. They're just giving information that they're told, and they may think that, and actually a driver may make more than them. And so they think, oh, these drivers are really rolling in the cash here. They look out in the parking lot, go, look at all these pickup trucks out here. So, Uber Freight. Yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. Uber Freight. Chris, you make 30 an hour to pull an end up, an extra 10 to drive an extra truck when my truck's in the shop. So you get more money just to drive a loaner truck. When there's no extra truck, it's $25 paid leave until your truck is out of shop. That's more like it, right? Now, here's the difference, and this is what you can get if you would leave U.S. Express and really search around for a place that is going to take care of you. Mega carriers outsource, in, stay, in-house. Call Mega Care for broker assist. Interesting. I work for Total Transportation out of Mississippi. U.S. Express owns us and have to fight for my detention time, and they mess your pay up. Great. See, so they mess up people's pay, they quit, and then they go to the government and go, wow, there's a driver shortage. No, you shouldn't have to fight for your detention. You should just get paid detention. $25 an hour for 10 hours paid leave. Yeah, isn't that excellent? And here we have a U.S. Express driver sitting for 2 days not getting paid anything. That's how much spread there is in the industry. And that's how they get people that don't know any better. And it's sad because it's going to leave U.S. Express and they're going to be like, wow, more people are leaving. We don't understand. Your total pay is great. What do they start at? Yeah, that's a good question. What do they start at? Ivona gets $300 a day breakdown pay. Perfect. So you break down, you're going to get paid. That's the way it should be. Drive or not, you get your day's pay if you're ready to work. This U.S. thing of 2 days and no pay is crazy. They need to pay you or you need to leave. Do you have a contract over there, U.S.? Last week you ran less than 1,000 miles because the truck kept going to the shop. So what is your gross check for last week, if you don't mind telling us? You'd quit your job if you didn't get paid for 2 days if it wasn't at home. Well, there's good and bad, right? How do you get around recruiters? Called one a few weeks ago and they didn't seem to have a clue about half the things she was asking me. Yeah, some of them have no idea. You can call them back, get a different person, and get a whole different story. They tell you 2 different things about the same company, and supposedly they're in the same room. They're probably looking at each other. You know, they were just deciding where to go to lunch a minute ago, and then you call them. It doesn't make any sense. The recruiters need to be trained too. So Royal Trucking in West Point, Mississippi is a good company. Don't quit before a year if you just started. It depends. Tough it out. Have somewhere else to be after 1 year. It depends. If you're making $300-$400 a week, I mean, it's 1,000 miles. It's not going to pay much. You have to quit. You might have to quit. Mary R. Hey, hello. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. First broker to sign on with is C.H. Robinson. Yeah, well, you guys can go along with that. No, cheap and heavy. It's crazy. To sit for 2 days, it doesn't make any sense. 38 cents at total, 40 if you have a tanker. That's not great. If you have experience, that's low for an experienced driver. Pamela, you're glad you and your husband didn't go to U.S. Express. They tried. Yeah, it never ends. You know, I just got a call from PTL. Oh, yeah, Pashal. And they sent me a message that said, you are set. This was last week. You are set up for orientation on Monday. Congratulations. Call us to verify your bus ticket. That's what they said. I haven't talked to them for months, just so you know. So I thought that was hilarious. Coyote is good, but smaller, so that might be a good place too. On a week when my truck's not in the shop, you get $16.50. That's pretty good. Oh, right. Okay, so Chris, yeah. So you're home every day making 80 grand or more, and look at U.S. Express. It's got people sitting around, not paying them anything. I mean, and that isn't right to do. Okay, it just says you have a good job, and I totally agree with that. But this U.S. Express, who's complaining about the driver shortage? A place paying somebody 80 grand and home every day? Probably not. Around $300 or $400 a week. So, okay, there you go. So I think that puts the nail in it. You don't have a contract and you're getting $400 a week. You can't stay there to get your year's experience. You're going to make 20 grand. Okay, that is no money. See, I'm serious about that. $300 or $400 a week. It's $200 a week to feed yourself, depending on where you're eating or whatever. I mean, seriously, you cannot be gone and make $400 a week. No way. Do not quit the industry. Quit U.S. Express. Start looking immediately for another job. Because $300 a week is $15,000 a year. That's basically poverty level. Roger, only got on the start and end of my awesome live stream. Thank you. Due to your ELD. Well, that stinks, right? Emergency lane and shoulder should only be emergency and breakdown. Yes. Put up triangles. Don't be a sitting duck. Look, please, do not stop on the shoulder unless you are having an emergency. If you have to stop 2 hours from where you're going, then you have to stop 2 hours from where you're going to be safe. That's got to be number one for everybody. No matter how much money you're making or ELD or anything, you've got to be safe. Safety is always first. Riding shotgun, made $97,000 as a company driver working for Quality Logistics out of Colorado and been there 7 years. Yeah, are you looking around for a job? Probably not. Does your company have a driver shortage? Probably not. You hate mega carriers. Drivers go to small company. It can. It depends where, small companies may or may not pay good. Depends how small it is, too. 5 trucks is the problem for me. Elite's 50 cents, $35 for a pickup. That's much better. I bet that's better than our U.S. Express drivers getting here. If I heard anything about Tribe, they used to be Cherokee. Did they change their name? Just graduated at Swift Academy. Yeah, what are you getting? And get on a dedicated run there. Try to get on a dedicated run at Swift. People that write to me from Swift that are on dedicated runs seem to like it. You work for a mega LTL and make 100 gross each. Yes. So a mega LTL I would consider something like Estes or Old Dominion, that kind of thing. And so teaming at a place like that is $100,000 job. 100 grand per driver. And if it's you and your husband, that's 200 grand into one house. That's pretty sweet. That's so you come in 2 separate Lexuses just because you can, not because you need to. I love it. Where does the $400 a week driver live? That's a very good question. Where do you live? U.S. Express $400 a week driver, whose name I can't think of at the moment. Swift drivers need thick skin. Yeah, we all laugh at you. That's true. Swift gets a lot of grief in the industry. So everywhere you go, you're going to get made fun of. I probably wouldn't wear Swift logoed apparel outside the truck just because of that. Collins run away from Swift, go to a small company. Depends where you live for the oil fields. You can't just work in the oil fields anywhere. Roger Penske, under 21, go to food and beverage. Great pay, local, and full benefits. You could start at a place like that, a food and beverage, under 21, be local. Unload the truck a little, but yeah, good money. Better than you'd probably make at any other job when you're 20 years old. Big Red had you sitting 4 to 5 days and only took home $130 this week. I mean, are you punking me? Is Ashton Kutcher going to come out of here? $130? You left the U.S. Express after 7 months. Right, and so they complain about a driver shortage. That's certainly possible. You got to leave immediately. I would go in and talk to him about that check and go, $130? How long do you think I'm going to stay here? I mean, I don't care, contract or not. What if you went somewhere and made $1,000 a week? Just pay the contract off. Oh, so you live in Maryland. There's plenty of jobs on the East Coast for you. You don't have to work at U.S. Express. Almost every place hires east of the Mississippi River. You basically have your choice of working everywhere. The company is hiring as it is growing. Okay, $5,000 bonus of 50 cents a mile. They have a 2-year minimum. I think it should be 5. Oh, 5-year. Most places don't have a 5-year minimum. Try Pepsi. From what I hear, they aren't bad. 20 or so an hour. There's also, I went and talked to Red Classic Express, which is Coca-Cola. So absolutely, they're also paying well. In Indianapolis, CVS pays well. You looked at the oil fields, but they want experience. Right. There's plenty of places that pay you more than you're making. You'd love it if recruiters were honest and didn't sweet talk the drivers. Because here, they're being paid per driver. That's not a good way to pay people. It's why I buy stuff at Best Buy. Because at Best Buy, they're hourly. They're not on commission. So I think you get a better answer from them. That's personally. So the same with the recruiter. It's why it's good to call a couple times and see what they say. And, of course, talk to drivers from the company that you're looking at. See what they say. Mary R., all right, I will see you after work. It's a good thing about Swift. There's no pressure on you at the truck stop because everybody expects you to be terrible. That's a good point. You've gotten plenty of compliments. Look, if you can go in a truck stop in a Swift truck and back in, oh, my gosh, you'll probably get a standing ovation there. So they'll be like, that Swift driver knows what he's talking about. Absolutely. U.S. Express threatened to fire me a year after I quit because of a problem with your application. Yeah, they fired you a year after you quit. I started in the oil fields, but lucky your dad got you a job in the oil fields in 2000. You drove a Mack and moved oil rigs. There's tons of oil field jobs now. I mean, holy mackerel, right? Anybody that lives near the oil fields should be working in the oil fields. Pepsi has transport jobs at 20 an hour, 48 cents. That's very good. Free Pepsi. That may not be true. Be careful of small companies, especially the ones who want you to pay you as a 1099. Yeah, don't 1099 yourself anywhere. And I always say, from a small company point of view, this, right? You don't get as much benefits. You don't get as many benefits. So health insurance, life insurance, and all that, it may or may not be as good, and it may cost you more than it would at a large company. So depending if you need to use those benefits, a small company may not be your best choice. It depends. Williamsport, Maryland has Dot Foods. They have a distribution center, and they're building another one. That would be an excellent place to go. You should call them the next time your truck breaks down, which is probably today. But seriously, for $300 or $400 a week, you have to move on. You can't stay there to get your year's experience. You're passing up, $10,000, $15,000 over between now and you get your year's experience. That doesn't make any sense. And you're getting $130 a week net. I mean, oh my gosh, you have to quit. It's almost worth just quitting at a place like that. Almost. Because that's like negative money after you feed yourself for the week. It doesn't make any sense at all. Pepsi gives you free Pepsi and break room. Oh, nice. Kind of like Fago did. I delivered to Fago a number of times, and they used to have a cooler full of all their sodas in the break room for anybody that came in. So you could grab whatever kind of soda you wanted. Great. How's DHE? What is DHE? I'm actually headed to Pennsylvania again to go in the shop. When you're in the shop, you can go right then and call Dot Foods and see what they have to say. Give them your situation that you're making $300 a week. I mean, they understand that. You have checks and say, I have to leave. I'd like to stay my year, but I can't work for $300. So companies understand that kind of thing. Evil Ken Evil, what kind of motorcycle do I drive? I don't currently drive a motorcycle, although I did have a Kawasaki KZ400. Oh, yes. Classic. Classic. I don't have a motorcycle, though. How do you find a new job without your employer finding out? Well, you just tell them that, I'm not filling an app until we're all set or whatever, and then they may find out, but you just can't stay there. It's worth, doing it. Run your DAC. Here's a good idea. Run it right now. Go get your own. Apparently, you can get your own copy and make a screenshot and print it out, and then you can present that. And so anything that they put on there that isn't true, you can say, well, look, a week ago they didn't say anything bad about me. So you always have that kind of option as well. Bad thing about the oil fields is people with international license are flooding and killing the rates. It was bound to happen, but it's still more than most people make, I think. Look for a company that will take your experience if it means being with a mentor. You may have to go with somebody. I don't know what Dot Foods would do about that. Yeah, Antoine, you got to start looking for what if you went to $1,000 a week? Would that change your life? I mean, just $1,000, that's $600 a week extra. That's life-changing money. Over a year, that's an extra $30,000. That's just crazy to stay on there. Don't be scared, it will hold you back. Yeah, don't ever be afraid to take a chance, because you'll only regret the things that you don't do. That's the success quote of the day, I guess. But seriously, you got to look around. That is no kind of money. Did I jump trucks on my KZ400? It just didn't get the power necessary to jump over any kind of semis. The 38, I think it was 38 horsepower, just wasn't enough to get me going. You can ask your new company not to notify. Yeah, don't they have a checkbox? But I guess you could tell them, right, and say, don't notify the company because they're going to hose me on your DAC. And here's my current DAC. I printed it out, 3 days ago. So they're going to put a bunch of stuff on there. Just got to the Walmart DC in Houston. What, is it still humid down there? I would, man, if I want to get treated and padded like this, I would have stayed throwing boxes. Yeah, exactly. But you can make way more than $400 a week. Believe me, that is not the industry standard. That's the U.S. Express standard. A BW being tardy. Holy mackerel. First day home, over a week on the road. Wow. Wife had other plans for me at 1 p.m. What the heck? Orders from headquarters. Thanks for being here. All right. Well, as long as you're breathing, you'll be checking in. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Believe me. Should a driver expect to run an average of 500 miles a day? Now, I think a driver should expect to get an average day's pay every day. So it depends what you do, right? And you just never know what you're going to do. It depends what you're doing. You may not need 500. Some drivers get 100 miles a day and have 40 stops. So, and it depends. So you should make a day's pay every day. You got $5,000 SLB. I don't know, Brad. How often should a rookie check their DAC? Well, I mean, if you are going to change jobs, it's not a bad idea to check through your DAC. I think it's illegal for a company to call a current employer. Just read yesterday. Well, you have to give them permission, right? Yeah, I give you permission, and eventually they're going to probably want to verify your employment. But it may be illegal. But what if they do it anyway? So that's the thing of it. You have to be prepared for that. Believe me, even if the U.S. fired you tomorrow, you're making $300 a week. You're better off. Believe me. Remember, it's $290 gross is minimum wage for 40 hours. That's the current federal minimum wage times 40 is $290. If you're making $300 at the U.S., you can go make that money literally anywhere. Hey, Chris, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Head out for the day. Get some work done out there. How are lease purchase legal? Thought the IRS was clear. Well, whether they're legal or good are two different things, but you can lease a truck and put it on and not make any money, I guess, if that's something you'd want to do. Where do you go to check your DAC? It's at HireRight, HireRight.com. HireRight, 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 and there's a click-through on there that says, get my DAC report, something like that, something to that effect. Roy Del Pozo, hey, thank you very much. Things are good still at Dot. I'll message you later. Okay, yeah, let me know the quirks, but I'm glad it's going good there, and thank you very much. I appreciate it, and thanks for being here. Do I have a review on Crete or Schaefer? Yeah, I did a video on Crete, but it's a little bit older, but I would still recommend the Crete Schaefer, absolutely. What's a DAC? That's where companies get to put all the information about you, about how you worked, and they'll put on there if you had any accidents, and sometimes they lie on there and say stuff, or we fired him because of this. It's kind of blackballs you out of the industry. It can, and it's hard to get changed. HireRight, go check your DAC. And apparently the first checking is free. Right, small payment, not smart. That's all right. Believe me, I appreciate it. Believe me. They run your CDL and MVR. It will show your employment history without contacting your employer. Yes, they could absolutely find all that out without contacting your current employer. And you can tell them, look, I work for US. Here's my check. I would actually do that. I made $347. Okay, so I'm not like trying to hop jobs. I know I just started. I'm not trying to be a job hopper, but I can't live on $300 a week. It's totally legit because companies are always worried about that. But go look, for 16 grand, I'm not going to stay in this industry. I got to make some money. Yeah, I had a chance to drop in normally working. Well, hey, at least it's going good over there, and I always appreciate you being here. Had a chance to, thanks, never give OTR notice. If you find a new job, clean out and go home. There has been, I can't tell you the people that have written in and been on the show and stuff that as soon as they give notice, they don't get any miles and they don't get them home and stuff. So I'm almost with that. I mean, I'm almost with just quitting, especially if you're making $300 a week. I mean, who cares? They certainly don't care about you, certainly. But, even another job, it's a risk. You have to be ready. I will tell you that. If you're going to give notice, be ready for that to be your last day because it could absolutely happen. What's my CB handle? I'm the captain, although I don't talk on there. That's from Star Trek, of course. Hey, Brian, heading out to Nebraska. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, stop by the website, Trucking Answers Nation, and see what's going on over there. And I hope to see everybody at the truck show. Will people be at the truck show in Mid-America at the end of this month? It's almost here. It's the last weekend of March. Come on down. It's going to be a blast. I'll be walking around with a camera live, so be prepared to go on YouTube live and say hi. Sometimes they look, Greg, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's got to be, I read in the history book, one time that a company did not lie. And so I read it in a book. So at one time, it was in the 50s, but still, there are times. I went on home time with Trans Am. When I came off, I told them I needed a fuel solution to the yard because I was quitting. Did they give you a fuel solution to the yard? Also, be prepared to not get your last check from a company as well. So that happens a lot too. Companies keep your last check because they know it's really hard for you to get it. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen a lot. That company doesn't exist anymore. $300 a week to live on the road. Yeah, I mean, you can't be on the road for $300. You got to quit. You just got to quit. Ryan O'Ryan, hey, what's happening out there? Good to see you today. Thanks for stopping in. They begged you to stay with them. Yeah, tell them, you know, what was the problem? Could they solve whatever the problem was? That's the question. Because there's obviously a reason you would quit. Other you would just stay there. Tell the company you need a leave of absence. They don't take back sign-on. I agree. That is actually a very good thing. You can say, I need 2 weeks off for a leave of absence. I'm going to go do this, and I'll give you the truck back. I'll clean it out right now, and then I'll be back on this date and get that last check in your hand. That's a very good idea. You could even start with your new company during that time. But a leave of absence is a very good idea, so that you make sure it goes through your last paycheck, so they don't have any money. And if you have any money on your pay card, if you get paid on your com data, if you get paid on a pay card, oh my gosh, go clear that out. They will turn that thing off in 2 seconds. It's just a click. So super easy. Get your money in your hand and then you quit. Because then all they do is send you a bill. You owe us this money, and tell them, that's hilarious. You were behind a truck recently that signaled the opposite way in which he was turning. Driver error, or could it be wired backwards? If it was an old trailer, I guess it could be wired backwards. The driver may not know what he's doing or not have thought about it. As long as I can get my company to get me there, I'm going. Done. Bought my VIP pass. All right, good. We'll see you there. Wow, you VIP'd it too. Nice. Joshua, under 1,000 miles a week average after 2 months, never hit your 70. That's 1,000 miles a week. I mean, here we go again. Even if you're getting 50 cents, that's only $500. Depending on what you're doing, I guess. Some places pay a daily pay because you don't get that many miles. So it just depends. Do I feel like companies like CR England should get a bit more respect for give people opportunities to get them when other companies will not? No. I think a company like CR England should get total disrespect for the way they treat their drivers, for shoving 50 of them in a truck. Absolutely not. Another truck driver tried to run you off the road because you tried passing him. Was he mad that he couldn't go faster than you? I mean, some people shouldn't be drivers. They don't have the the mentality to be a driver. You need to be kind of calm, right? You need to be zen it out during the day or whenever you're driving. Chris, I usually mysteriously get sick prior to getting my last check and make sure to go already on home. I don't go right. You get hosed when you quit, right? Oh, you get a doctor's note that says you're too sick to drive. Oh, that's good too. That's very good. Go see your doctor if you can and get a note. Oh, I just can't come back in until after payday. I mean, until next week, right? That's exactly what you tell them. Adam, checking in from I-80, headed to Philadelphia. Nice. Legally, you're not abandoning the truck. I did this at work like a charm. Yeah, I'm saying that if you had a planned absence, I need this 2 weeks off, you could already have turned the truck in because they probably wouldn't want you to keep it at home for 2 weeks. Say, I'll leave the truck at the yard. I'll take everything out of it, but I want it back. Tell them like you're coming back or whatever. And so then you have your time off and you can get through that last paycheck because a lot of places will hold your check. You can blind. Yeah, that was Trans Am. Royal Trucking has me and the old lady, nice, teaming at a $5,500 a week. So you get the miles whether you run them or not. I like a guarantee of miles or pay as well. You know what you're going to make at least. You can blindside back as easy as regular if you're consistent in your setup. I totally agree. It's all in the setup. Backing is just the setup because people say, oh, well, you blindside. It's the same setup, right? Doesn't matter if you can see anything. It's set it up. It goes right in there. Jonathan likes the video on Martin coming from CRST. This company is heaven. Good. I'm glad. I personally am glad that you got out of there and got a place that is going to treat you better and pay you better. You know, it isn't just necessarily pay, although their pay at CRST is low. You know, it's the way that you're treated. I think Martin, you're going to find, treats you a lot better. And keep everybody up to date on how it's going there. How have your checks improved? How many times have I been given the bird from traffic? An amount that I'm sure I cannot count, certainly. Do I think other companies will start using the 3-bunk tractor? I'm surprised they haven't. When I saw that, I go, oh, I bet there's a million videos from other companies, but nobody else has it yet because drivers would be putting videos out. So I'm really surprised it hasn't come out at other companies. Your company gave you your paycheck when you quit. Now, some do. I'm not saying they don't do it. I'm saying it's a risk, and a lot of places don't pay you. So the easiest way to do it is to eliminate the risk and take time off over your payday so you get your money. Hey, Big Huge Mike, time to play in the snow. Nice. Thanks for coming in, and I will see you next Monday. Do most companies govern their trucks at 65? Some of them are pushing in the high 60s now. I see 70 even. But a lot of company trucks are 65. That's where I am. A lot of them go 67 on the pedal now, sometimes 68. I recently was assigned a 2019 Cascadia. Oh, fancy schmancy. You're driving 4,000 miles plus per week. Wow. At 44 cents a mile. Zip code. Oh. You want to ask for 50 cents. What's the best way to ask? Well, just ask them for 50 cents and tell them zip to zip is crazy, but be prepared to not get it. I mean, how do you do 4,000 miles every single week? You must have no on-duty time other than driving. I mean, 60 miles an hour average times 70 hours is 4,200 miles. So, I mean, you're scamming your log somewhere, or you're total not logging any, you don't have any time off, you know, on-duty time. Your company let you take off for 2 weeks for 2 different occasions last year. You just stayed out for like 3 months straight and earned it. That's another way to do it, I guess. If you have time earned, you can take it off, absolutely. I mean, that's 3 months out is a long time. If you're up for it, I'm okay with it. I mean, you'd run a 3-bunk truck team drive with a trainee. I wouldn't. Big M is 65 on the pedal and 68 on the cruise. All right. I mean, 2 trainees. Yeah, you'd have 2 of them in there because that extra bunk takes all your storage up. If you've seen those videos. North Carolina, Arizona dedicated. Man, that is a lot of miles every week. I mean, your truck with the key in the off position says brake air low. When I take the key out, it says the same thing. Time to get the truck into the shop. Because I personally don't know how to fix them, really. Other than very simple things. $535 for 3 days of work is a lot more than CRS2, where my average was $180 a week. Oh, you can't live on that kind of money. And then they wonder why they can't find drivers. You would run teams with 3 people, huh? I mean, holy mackerel. What is tomorrow, folks? Taco Tuesday. That's what it is. Zip to zip pay is what this was in 1975. Right. Does your company not own a computer? Yeah, well, they handwrite it. They got a Rolodex, and they handwrite. Do you still get a handwritten check there, where they actually write on the check to driver here from company? Oh my gosh. What's the weight limit on the bunk and the driver? I don't know. I haven't been in the truck. That is an interesting question. I don't know what the bunk weight is on. I'm sure there's a sticker stuck on it. But there's one right above you right here. There's lots of people that have done videos about them. I don't have one of those trucks, so I've never seen one. And of the people that have written to me from England, they never have one. I say, do you have the 3-bunk truck? No. So too bad. Cash is king. Do they own a computer? That's really good too, right? Who cares? Who wants 3 guys in a truck? Well, it can be a mix. Let's put it that way. But who wants 3 people? 2 is a lot in the truck. Really, right? Am I not right about that? I mean, if you want a team with somebody you know, but my gosh, the only people that want it are the trainers. Because when you watch those videos of those trainers doing that, what do they talk about? Look how much money I make. I make double my trainee bonus because the one guy, I think he said you get 200 when the person graduates and 100 more when they get their license, and then a penny for every mile they drive for the next year if they stay in England, which hardly anybody does. But if they did, so you could have 2, now you double, 2 every few weeks, 2. And if they all stay, I mean, you could make $2,200, $2,400 a week. It's all about It's all about money, though. None of it is about training. I never hear anybody saying, look how much better everybody will be trained. You don't hear that because that's not what it's about. And that's what it should be about. You want to do that? You need to train people, not do all this other stuff. You should get paid, certainly. I'm not saying you shouldn't get paid, but that can't be what you're doing. You have to do the training and the money comes later. Probably like $250, like every other standard top bunk. That's so most drivers can't use it. I'm considering returning to K&B for the money. No way. The treatment. It isn't the money, man. It's the treatment, or woman saying, right? It's not, it's the treatment. It isn't worth, your dignity isn't worth a check. And they don't pay any more than anybody else. 50 cents is, you can get 50 cents anywhere. Go to bar none and get 60 cents. The $12.50 guarantee, you can get guarantees at a lot of places. Go to Dot Foods. I mean, come on. The K&B, come on. 3 inmates and 1 cell. Yeah, 2 cellies. Except basically your guard is with you. It's 2 inmates and a guard in the same cell. You're on a dedicated lane from Blythe to Atlanta 3 times a week. That's pretty good. That's a good lane, too. I love dedicated. I've said it many times. It solves sleeping problems, parking, solves a lot of problems in the industry. And it solves your check. You know what you're going to make every week. You could get more rest. It may help prevent accidents rotating 3 people. I don't think so. I never slept good in a moving truck. And so I don't think so. And you'd get the same rest with 2 people, right? So I'm not a fan. And from what these people said, the trainers that have shown their trucks, they don't drive. The 2 people rotate back and forth, and the trainer doesn't drive at all. He said only if it was a tough back or something. That's what he said. So it's the 2 people, still 2 people driving, and a trainer just sitting there. It's a low voltage disconnect error code on Pete's common. Let's see what people say about that. Cassius King would do the 3-bunk truck, but women better be really hot, and I want 1 brunette. Oh, well. Oh, my gosh. We're sinking to the depths now. Constantly have to drive with all the windows open to air out the livestock smell. Oh, what if it was a 3-bunk livestock hauler? Wouldn't that be great? 2 people's lot to begin with. You can't imagine 3. That 3rd bunk takes up storage. Go watch those videos. All these upper cabinets, they take them out and put a bed up there. You don't have the overhead above you. All that is gone because of the bed. ATS Trucking has upside pay. I put them on there. ATS was pretty good too. They had a good starting thing and everything, right? Elite Guarantee 65. Love a guarantee. I'm a huge fan of guarantees because you know what you're going to make. You don't have to have this waiting around like sitting at US Express where they don't pay you. If you were guaranteed a day's pay, you wouldn't care if the truck sat in there because you know you're still getting a day's pay. That's the way to do it. Whenever you were a kid, I remember seeing trucks named Diamond Rio, right. Anyone remember them? Yeah, I haven't seen one on the road in a long time. But yeah, it was a company and they're defunct now, of course, but absolutely. Once in a while you see one running around. I drive a mini flow. I make $4,000 a week. I have my CDL with hazmat. Considering, what is a mini flow anyway? If you make $4,000 a week, you're not going to, you must own the truck or something. You're right, the England model, the trainer doesn't drive, but I'm saying if companies adopted the 3-bunk truck for teaming, think it would help drivers get it more rest? I don't know. See, if the trainer isn't driving, then the 3-bunk truck doesn't help people get more rest because they have the same amount of time off as if there's 2 people in the truck. So the 3rd person isn't helping the 2 drivers get any more rest. It just helps the trainer get more rest. Michael's riding high with CR. Yeah, literally. What's upside pay? At ATS, they have a mileage pay and percentage, and you get whichever one's more on each load without you having to do anything. You don't switch back and forth. So whatever your mileage pay is, they figure that out, and whatever the percentage is in that load, they figure out. And whichever one is more, you get. You get the upside. Whichever one pays you better is the one you get. That's not too bad of an idea, by the way. Is it possible to make over $2,000 a week without doing teams? It is possible. I've seen jobs that pay $100. I have seen $100 for solos. It is not super common, but you can do it. When does the trainer sleep? Oh, yeah, it's not about making it better. Well, the trainer can sleep anytime he wants to, right? Because he's got the bed there. Just scooch him over when you get in bed, right? Just scooch him over. Your Pete is crazy engine fault codes and engine shutdown warnings. Yikes. Just pull over, turn the truck off, back on, code gone. Love it. And then when you get to the shop, what did the shop say? Ran fine for us. How many times that happened? All day. Have codes coming on, truck problems. Take it to the shop. Get a call an hour later. I don't know. It's been running here for an hour. No problems. Come and get it. Just ridiculous. You remember Emeryville's at Brockway's. Wow. I remember Brockway. I don't remember Emeryville. And I don't think I've ever seen a Brockway on a road other than at like a museum or a truck show. I've seen some of the diamonds, old. Of course, they were old, but I've seen a few of those when I first started driving. But I haven't seen any of these other ones on the road. I got lucky today. I'm meeting at the Country Pride and get to watch your show. Hey, what's going on, Michael? Thanks for being here and for staying at the TA. The TA appreciates your business. You make $2,000 a week doing Dollar Tree dedicated. That's pretty good. What company is paying $2,000 on a Dollar Tree account? Holy mackerel! I'm sure other people would like to know that. And how long are you gone for that kind of money? That's more than most places advertise on the Dollar Tree account. That's why I'm asking about it. If you want to, share with us where that might be at $100,000 on Dollar Tree. East Coast, I'm thinking East Coast because that seemed to pay extra. 3-bunk truck is unwanted cuddle buddies. Is it unwanted? Is it now? Who says? Who's to say it's unwanted? How would we know if they're being honest about the top upside pay? You wouldn't know unless they show it to you. I mean, you wouldn't. It's always my problem on percentage. I would want to see the bills, and I never asked them. So you'd ask, can I see the bills or whatever? So that's the thing of it. You're never 100% on it, right? Think if you drove first, you drove second, and someone else drove third, you get 20 hours of rest each time instead of 10. I'm not saying use it for training just as a 3-team truck. Okay. So you could each drive 8 hours, right? Never need a 30-minute break, and the truck would never need to stop. That's how I think the best way would be. Probably you'd still get 16 hours off, and the truck could keep running unlimited amount of time. Well, Bill Anderson, I thought you quit that job. We need to quit. I heard U.S. Express is about to have an opening for $400 a week driver, if that's something that would interest you. Brockways, yeah. Forgot about those exactly. Because we haven't seen them on the road in so long. Doesn't work with mine when the LVD happens. It cuts batteries and can't run bunk heat. Oh, brilliant. Your truck, you have a 10-minute cutoff, so it can't keep it running. I'd say motel. Somebody's getting me a motel. That's what you need to do. If the bunk heater doesn't work and the truck won't idle, somebody's buying me a motel, period. Or they're getting call after call, and I'm on duty until I get in a motel. Okay, that you do not have to tolerate that at all from a place, and they should do it. If you get 50 cents per mile, I'll definitely let you know. I love this company. I've been driving for 7 months, and they don't harass you. I'm thinking ABF in 5 more months. Yeah, I think that'd be better than other place. Absolutely. You're going to get paid for all of your time there. While Bill hates money, then the U.S. is for you. 3 to a truck is crazy. Forget the 20-hour rest. The swamp butt would be unbearable. Look, I cannot imagine. It's bad enough with 2 people that would be living in the truck. But remember, the 3, you don't know each other either, generally. You're put together. So you also have that. I mean, come on. Mac bought them out in the 70s. Oh, okay. And Rhino's liking that too, right? I would go by AutoZone to check the alternator. Would AutoZone run a semi? Oh, that's interesting. Ivana wants a roller wiener. We can take those in the 3-bunk truck. Each of them get a roller wiener. Oh, nice. And then hit the road. There's a party at the Super 8. There's always a party at the Super 8. You can't, never a party. Look, if your bunk heat doesn't work and it's cold, right, they need to put you in a motel. And I don't care what their policy is. That's the thing. You got to not care. You can't sleep in a freezing truck. I mean, we got more dignity than that. You're a professional. Do they sleep in their car with it turned off at night? No. Tell them, look, I'm a professional. You're going to put me in a motel and we'll get this truck fixed. It's just as simple as that. We're not going to tolerate freezing in the truck. That is not happening. And I'm on duty. waiting for that to happen. That's what you tell them, and leave the log on duty. Simple as that. If they won't do it, I mean, that's another reason to quit. Totally another reason to quit. Leslie, unless it's a Cat 24 volt. Oh, blow out their a thing at the AutoZone. Burn the curtains for heat. Oh, my God, right. You can't burn the plastic curtains for heat in the truck. We got to demand a motel. That should be their policy, right? Isn't that? Most companies, we'll put you in a motel, any problems, but you can't, and they pay up front, not you pay for it and we get the money back. No, give them the motel's phone number. They can call and set a room up for you, and that is paid for by them. Don't get that reimbursed, because later they'll be like, oh, we're not going to reimburse this, sorry. So make them pay for it up front. A company like US or whatever large company, they have the money to buy a motel room for the night. With your luck, you'd get stuck with a loudmouth that wouldn't show up well. Shut up. Well, if you're the trainer, you can just stay up with him, I guess. When you were with England, you could stick the roller wiener in his mouth. He said, when I was with England, they put me in a truck with 2 other men, but the truck only had 2 beds. So the trainer laid a spare mattress over the front seats. You have to be dropped off after 2 days. You lasted longer than I think you should have. So he laid a mattress over the front seats. Okay, so how do they log that? That's not a sleeper berth. He cannot sleep on a mattress on the seats and log sleeper berth time. That's not allowed. So, and how would you log 3 people on a log? Their log must have a way to log a 3rd person in. I don't think I could do it here. It's only set up for 2 people. So there's no reason you couldn't legally do it. Putting a mattress on the seats is not sleeper berth time. Guess he probably logged it off-duty time. Already got alternator checked. It runs fine. Got new batteries. It runs. Yikes. As soon as you got the truck off, it drops down to 11 volts. Shop. Looks like I might be going to Maverick or Melton. I have 18 months experience thanks to my videos. Good. Yeah, hit one of those. Call them both, right? Call them both. Absolutely. If I can't have heat, nobody sleeps. Ivona, exactly. I mean, how long do we tolerate no heat? Not 0. That's how long. Somebody is getting me a motel. The bunk heat doesn't work, right? And I'm not freezing to death. So I'm on duty until I get a motel. When they hang up on you, you call them back. How long do I recommend staying at a starter company? Well, it depends. If you're making a decent wage, you can do your year. But like we have a driver here who was on here making $400 a week at US Express. So if it's like that, 20 grand, you quit. You just can't stay. Normally I would say stay, but I mean, you can't stay for that kind of money. The shower costs and all that are high because you're not fueling enough to get enough showers every day. So you're either not showering, so you got to pay for showers. That's no good, to go 3 days without a shower, hygiene and stuff. You can't live like that. We're not animals. I'm a human being. On duty sleeping. He logged it on duty sleeping. What's the biggest improvement in trucking? The trucks. I think the trucks are way better. I mean, just then, and I had pretty new trucks then, mostly 80s, other than at my first company where the trucks are from the 70s. I'd say the trucks are way improved from where they used to be. People always want to go back to the old trucks. Not me. Okay, they're quiet now. They run good. They don't have problems. I'm in now. Way better than it used to be. I think the trucks are the biggest improvement. Can you log off duty in a day cab now? In the day cab? No, I don't think so. How could you log? No, because off duty requires you to be able to pursue activities of your own choosing. So if you can pursue activities of your own choosing, you can log off duty. So, but that guy with the mattress was probably logging sleeper time, and there's no way. Because I wish the DOT would have asked him, where do you sleep? There's no reason you couldn't legally sleep, all 3 of you in the sleeper, even with 2 beds, if the truck is stopped. How you arrange that is none of my business anymore since it's 2019, but I don't see why you couldn't all sleep that way. And what kind of mattress? What about the gear shift back then? I mean, there must be an automatic. You don't want that thing poking you in the wrong spot. Holy mac, I'm sitting on 8th gear. I mean, that's not going to be a great thing either. I didn't know they did the 3 people before the truck. So they didn't think of the truck and then go, we'll have 3 people. They're like, we have 3 people. We have to put another bed in here. That was the problem. It's reversed. Tell your dad about new trucks. He would prefer his 85 with the big old school steering wheel. Yeah, Why? Because it was manual steering. Right? How about that? How about that as an improvement? Holy mackerel. You know, he should ride around in a new truck and he'd be surprised at how quiet it is and everything. You know, that's somebody that needs to be in a new truck. Does he still drive in 85? In 2000, you got a brand new truck with power windows and door locks. Oh, and a CD player. Man, it was a huge change. Isn't that something? We just went to all power windows probably 5 years ago. Where all of them had the power windows in it. Right. So I still have a CD player. Don't use it. You got one in the car. Never used it. Only have a couple CDs. Yeah, Mad Maldy. I updated some of those. What kind of company would make 3 people bunk up in the same truck anyway? Maybe if the sleeper were the size of a motorhome. Well, a kind of company that doesn't care about the 3 people in the truck. Honestly. I mean, honestly. Nobody would otherwise do that. There's no way anyone would do it. Somebody in the office should have to ride around like that in that truck as well to see exactly what's going on. It's just totally ridiculous. And an only company that would do it is one that doesn't care about the students. They don't care about training anybody. The CR England trainer sleeps on the trailer or on the catwalk between the truck and trailer. I put out some time ago that a guy told me he used to hang a hammock. Now, this was an old driver then, and so this would have been in the 60s. He used to hang a hammock underneath the trailer when he would sleep, and then he would write the time on the back of the trailer, like 6 a.m., and then drivers going by would honk to wake him up. It was kind of like you had your own wake-up call. Now, I don't know if this actually happened in trucking or not. He always had a story about everything, but it's just the craziest thing I ever heard. That you would hang. I could see maybe people hanging under the trailer to be cooler because there wasn't any air in the trucks yet. But having a wake-up call, boy, I don't know. Maybe. Drivers shouldn't care to work for them. That's true, but they don't know. They don't advertise that to people. And new drivers don't know the difference. That's the problem. A new driver, somebody who's never driven a truck, would never think to ask, do you put 3 people in your tractor? Nobody would ever think about that because they're new. They don't know any better. Then once you're there, England puts all this stuff about, we will take you to federal court because an astute driver sent me one of their things that they send out to the drivers. And it said, we will take people to federal court. Our contract will be upheld. Everything is like, you know, and that's what they put out to the drivers. So you think, man, I just have to tolerate this. And it just isn't right. Most LTL companies do well. If you're young and willing to work your way up, yes, it definitely pays off. Absolutely right. 69 cents a mile on Hub, $29 an hour. But you got to start on the dock. Hopefully that's what you're starting on. Whatever you start on there is none of my business either, right, Brian? Holy mackerel. Then I take them for a ride, right, Brian? Wait, whatever people start on there at LTL companies, no wonder you make so much money. You really gotta work for it there. I see now what the deal is. The hot wire and the starter and the pizza shorting out. Oh my gosh, it would be like dispatchers taking turds, taking a seat on the chair. Otherwise, they'd be standing for their shift. Look, the dispatchers, I think, at every company should have to go with you, go with somebody for a full week or however long somebody's out and do everything they do on their schedule. And it should be the driver that hates the place the most, not the suck up that's in there every day with their shirt pressed, with their, you know, as they're pressed and their lines in and all that. Not that guy, not that suck up brown noser. Somebody who hates the place, who's got problems. Go with that person, see what their problems are and get it fixed. That's who they should go with. Oh, your father retired after 35 years, owner-operator. Okay, and hauled pigs and went to flatbed. Well, you know, he needs to ride in a new truck and really be impressed, really. Oh, hammock is so country. This guy was country. He was a little country and, you know, a little rock and roll. But I'm telling you, that's what he told me. And you I love that you write the time on the trailer and people would drive by and honk at you to wake you up. Rhino, yeah, crap companies do greedy. That's what they do. They could care less. Isn't that misleading, which could count as a scam? No, not if they don't tell you something you didn't ask. You know, they're not really misleading you. You didn't ask about it because you didn't know to ask about it. So are they a scam? Kind of, yeah. But it's, you know, that kind of thing. I don't ask something, so you don't tell it to me. So was I misled? I don't know. Not really, right? Do old school drivers really write directions on their windshield? I don't know. I never thought to do that. I always had a piece of paper, which, people still do now. And one of those clip things that just stuck on the dashboard because the dashboard was metal. And you just clip, I would clip the piece of paper in there with the directions. So I don't know about writing it on the windshield. That's something just with that grease pencil and you just wipe it off. You've had 3 people in your truck, but it was just terrifying, usually between Salt Lake City and Cheyenne. 3 people, so 3 total, hopefully. People are everywhere. There's legs and arms going all over the place. God knows what's going on in there. Start on Princess of Dixie Hill. What's going on? I am still on. Thank you for being here. Start on the dock for $18 is better than starting at one of those crap companies. Yes, because you know what it's going to lead to. You got to be willing. Look, the question always is, what am I willing to give up today for what I want tomorrow? Here's what I want in the future. Am I willing to give up today for what I want tomorrow? Or are you just going to be stuck in, nowhere land? Still use dry erase on the windows. That helps. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You put a grease pencil or something on the window and write your directions. That seems somewhat distracting, though, doesn't it? Doesn't the piece of paper on the dashboard seem like a better idea? I never heard of anybody doing it, but if people are hanging in a hammock under the truck and then using the other drivers as their wake-up call, I guess people could get someone to write on the windshield, like left and right, kind of like a heads-up display from the 60s. You're going to hit Atlanta rush hour. That isn't any good. Okay? So good luck getting stuck in it every day, right? There's never a day when it isn't bad. There's bad days and worse days. That's all there is down there. So dry erase and Windex. Do you do that, Rhino? Do you do that on your truck and write the directions down on there? You have one of the dispatchers take a 10-speed transmission and drive through Wolf Creek Pass Highway on 160 in Colorado. Then they can talk. Yeah, exactly. Why do companies not make dispatch go with you if they've never driven? They totally should have to go with somebody and not brown-nosed driver, whatever. Dry erase marker driver told me how he did it. That's really something. I never thought to do it, and I've never seen anybody do it. What if there were a lot of complicated directions? Do you have like the whole windshield full of directions? That seems really complicated. Turn left. Whoa, tree. It just doesn't seem like a great idea. With 3 guys in the truck, one should be the map guy. Yeah. Somebody should be up mapping, and they should never be lost. And one guy could be the Siri. You ask him the question, he goes to the other guy. Absolutely. R3, 1 mile, L4, 0.5 miles. Okay, yeah. But, if there are a lot of directions, what if there's 47 sets of directions you need, turn left and then turn right. And then, I don't know. I don't know. I never heard of it. It's certainly possible. People did all kinds of weird stuff, and the windshield was bigger. Maybe they had a GMC Astro. You could write all your directions on that. Plenty of directions. Do I have a favorite city or least favorite? I like out west, right? Wyoming. I always liked going west just because of traffic. I just never liked traffic. Long miles are the way I love it. So Cheyenne, when's rush hour? There's never rush hour. Rally directions. Yeah, exactly. All right. That's what those guys need, is to think they're in a rally car. You better have a thunder bucket in the rush hour traffic if you ate at the iron skillet. Oh, I never heard it called that. I'm going to write that down. Thunder bucket. That would be a good name for a band, too. I was thinking of putting a band together called the Thunder Buckets. Iron Skillet and the Thunder Buckets. Just feeling it, Laramie. 27 below. Wow. DEF's frozen, but they got roller wieners. Look, if they got roller wieners, life is good. And that's what I was saying about this DEF. Always fill up your DEF whenever it's available in the winter, because you never know when you're going to go somewhere and it doesn't work. Did you leave your truck running, I hope, at 27 below zero? Most companies, even if they don't like you running the truck, would allow that to run. Your GPS leaves breadcrumbs in case you get amnesia. Yeah, you can turn, some of them have a breadcrumb feature, so you can basically retrace your steps. You've written exits on the windshield? That's really something. You're like the first person I've ever heard that did that. You need a GMC Astro, if you remember that. If anybody else can look that up on Google Images and see the size of windshield you had there. Use side windows for small towns. Turn right where Sears used to be. You could do that here too, right? I love when people give you the directions like that too. You go 3 miles and turn left at where the Sears was. Oh, that's pretty helpful. Are we going to ask about the 3-man bunk at the truck show? Yeah, if they're there, we should ask them about it. I heard you guys have 3 men in a truck, and I would just love it. You know, we should really go at it like that. Say, I would really love it, you know, really love it, and see what they say about that. You're going to Western Express because you have a felony. Unfortunately, I've recommended Western to some people that have a questionable background, and at least it gets you into trucking and gets you a job. They will take people, but really, that's only if you can't get on somewhere else. But then at least they'll put you, you're going to make less money than you would elsewhere and probably not be treated well. Keep that in mind. But over time, you know, you can overcome that and get a better job. So just use it like thinking, I'm going to just do this to improve my future. And it's disappointing that it has to be that way, but they will take you. Get ready for the motel, bring bed bug spray and stuff like that. There's videos online. You're welcome to go look at them. Plenty of roller wieners at a Sear England 3-bunk truck. No need to buy them at the truck stop. Oh, very good. Hey, the guy goes, we don't need to buy them. We got them right here. And then the curtains close and Act 2 starts. Ready to roll out the music record department. Yeah, that'll be another new department after the poetry division. You prefer the Astro windshield. They hate the A-frame blind spots. It went too low. I always thought it was creepy. It went down below your knees, really. And I thought, man, this is kind of creepy how low the windshield. You could basically see the entire person sitting in there. It just seemed weird. Brickman, long show today. Now, I usually go around till 3:30-ish or so, which is coming up. My problem with the dispatchers is they don't trust drivers. Weather routes due to speed or what you have. My eyes tell me more than their computers. They should always listen to the driver. Most companies have that kind of policy. And you are the perfect reason why one of them ought to go with you in the middle of winter and say, this is how it really is out here. See, when somebody passes me, I can't see anything for 5 minutes. In my van with a load on top, kayak, skis would write load up and the big red letters across the truck driver windshield. So what? So the load goes up on the top? Yikes. Ski box, kayaks, man, you got everything on top of that thing. Load it up and get it down the road, certainly. Look, you should, Chrome Junkie, you should actually call there and say, look, I'll offer, but, you know, absolutely, get that person over here. Send somebody with me. Take them with you for a week. Oh, wow, Bill, you're quite welcome. And, yes, thanks to Blue Parrot. We'll see them at the truck show, hopefully, and everybody should go by and shake their hand and say how great they are, and to tell them to send more Blue Parrots over here so I can give more of them away. Is Schneider a good company? I haven't looked at Schneider, but they have a lot of different divisions. Is anybody on here right now from Schneider? Thinking about Red Classic. Oh, good. After seeing the show. Talk to drivers you've seen at Walmart and love it. Yeah. You know, they hired just south of me here in Frankfurt. I went and talked to them for a while. I thought it was going to be like 10 minutes. We did like 90 minutes. They were very nice about it. And they're going to be at the truck show. So we're going to go say hi to them. They invited me over to talk to them at their table. So I hope that you'll see them there. And Red Classic, if they're near you, they pay really good. And a lot of drivers there are home every day. They were looking at 70 grand here, home every day, no touch, and 5 days a week. I think that's pretty good. You know, with pretty basically new trucks, not bad. So it's certainly worth calling a place. The place to see. They're the hauler for Coke. That's Coca-Cola. Hey, Evil Knievel. Yeah. Hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And as I approach 3:30, I want to thank everybody for being here because I'll be taking off here. And you can write to me, Mark, at truckinganswersnation.com always. And or you can address the poetry division, Norris with a U. Maybe I should do that so he doesn't come over here and give me any grief. Even though he's like 91 years old. I mean, don't forget this weekend, too, to set your clocks ahead. Okay, that's this coming weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning. Be sure to spring forward with your clocks because otherwise you'll be late or early or whatever it is, depending on what country you're from. So, Mad Maldy, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. John, Paul, and Dwight, thank you. And I appreciate everybody being here, believe it. I don't say that enough, but I'm always just surprised that anybody is here, much less, 106 of you right now. So It is very humbling for me. Believe me, it really is. So thank you really for being here. When do clocks change? This coming Saturday. So Saturday night, Sunday morning, which is 2 a.m. officially, right? Spring forward. Do you change in some parts of Indiana? You don't. Yes, we're changing our clocks here. So most of the country changes, including right here in Indiana. We will spring forward, but we will still be here, of course, at 1 p.m. Eastern next Monday, as always, on at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's this weekend, yes. Scotty Too Hottie, which is a great name. I appreciate it. I know that because I watch Blind Cat Rescue, which is another channel on YouTube, and that's the name of one of their cats there. So I think that's interesting. Did I paint the picture? No, that is a friend of my wife's painted that picture at her work. So, that lady is very good. I have several of her paintings around. I've hung other ones and nobody likes them. So this is the one people like, so I keep it up here. So, Ivona, don't mess with Chucky. Yeah, and this weekend, remember, you get to don't feed your, now I lost it. It's gone. Well, those, right, I can't think of it. It's gone out of there. Either way, it's 3:30. I'm sure I'll think of it when I get out of here. But thanks, everybody, for being here. And that ends on a bad note, as always. But write me your missives, Mark at Trucking at Gremlins. There it is, right? Don't feed them after midnight. But when's midnight on that night? Holy mackerel. Al Johns, you just missed it. We're wrapping up because I have to get to work. Johnny, thank you for being here. I appreciate it, right? Be here every Monday and at the truck show at the end of the month, and I'll be there live, all right? So be safe this week. Get out of that U.S. Express and get a motel, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.